found this my journal from 1987, and it's got so many like I was reading through it last night, and it reminded me of so many different skate spots and like
What's in the
you
journal?
know
Just like straight diary style, day to day, or
like
what?
here's a picture of who all we went skating with that day.
Oh my
I don't know if you
gosh,
could
that's
see.
Yeah,
Is it
amazing.
Tim,
focusing?
Dave, Tony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey Ty, Tony Valley Pasta, Dave Cummings, Kiva, Tim. It's a bunch of Kirkwood people
No way.
because that's my scene.
Yes.
Anyway, I got many. I don't remember a lot of stuff, but I do remember a lot of stuff. Unfortunately,
Well, it
so much
looks like
happened
you
that
held on to a lot of stuff, which is awesome for what we're trying to do here.
oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
I got it all. And also we have our
Oh,
shitty
now we're
Santa
talking.
Cruz
Yeah,
throw
dude.
pillow. And the rest of our house is not really like skatey, but this room is. So I was like, perfect. It's the only room that's not torn up
Yeah,
right now.
that's kind of how this is for
Yeah.
us too. This is my
Yeah,
zone.
this is
Yeah.
propped for just to make it, yeah, some background.
Yep.
Well, I love it. It's good. It's
You,
way better than looking at people's ceilings.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. I sometimes have to make sure I did that last episode. The ceiling's all like got the water stains and stuff.
Oh,
Oh well.
oh, it's rustic. It's rustic.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hey, so do you like to
Okay.
go by Marcy or Marcella?
Marcy.
Marcy,
Marcy
perfect.
is
Okay.
great. Yeah, I
All right.
started going
Awesome.
by Marcella
Yeah.
after the skate era anyway. So,
Got it.
and
Yeah.
everybody calls me Marcy or Mars.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you guys want to start?
Yeah,
And
we're going official. Here we go. Here we
okay,
are, Rusty Bearings podcast. Marcy Howley. Is that how you pronounce your last name? Howley?
Holly.
Hawley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh-huh. Marcy Spanogle from the old days is how
Marcy
people would know me.
Spanogle. Okay, cool. Um,
Yeah.
dude, so we always kick this off like, so I did a little homework, not much. But doing some digging, like you're from the Kirkwood area, right?
Yep. Yep. I grew up in Kirkwood. I went to Kirkwood,
Yep.
and that was my local ramp was Adam Gegg's ramp. And although are we starting like before the ramp
A
era?
little, yeah, a little bit before that, like just
Oh
the
yeah,
yeah,
1971. I'm 53
nice.
now. So this is going to be this not isn't John Harm's level of history, but I got in there pretty early. I started skating in 85.
Wow.
So
Wow. Yeah.
mhm. um so yeah, I'm in Kirkwood, and I live with my mom and my dad, and then my parents got divorced, and my mom married my stepdad Steve, who was like raised us, and I had a brother Andy who also skated, Andy Spanogle,
Oh, wow.
and he's 2 years younger than me,
2 years
and
younger. Okay.
yeah, so he was like when I was looking back through my journals and my diary and stuff, he was often around, and we had to label everything. Like I laugh because I've got a bunch of skate stickers. I kept so much stuff, and my thrashers and stuff, and I would write Marcy up in the upper corner because he would
So,
take it, and he would take my
right.
clothes and always skate in them and bring have big old holes in my
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
Quicksilver
Mm,
jams.
Did you guys have, was he
nice.
like the classic little brother just trying to tag along, or did he have his own thing going, or how was
He
that?
had his own thing going for sure, but he was cool, so and
Yeah.
super funny. So he was welcome to come around. Everybody liked having him, and we had a range of people who we skated with in the scene, and it was really like I do feel like it was my grade of kids. So I was a freshman at Kirkwood and I was probably in eighth grade when we very first started kind of getting into it. When Splash Skate Shop opened in Rock Hill, that was
Oh,
the
wow.
first time that we like were exposed to that kind of stuff. Although I had gone to Florida the year when I was in seventh grade, and we went to Cocoa Beach and went to Ron John Surf Shop,
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
and
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
my gosh! And my stepdad had two daughters, Melissa and Amanda, and so our folks took us down there, and we got to go on this big
yeah.
shopping spree, which was awesome. And, came back to St. Louis with the jams and all these
Yeah.
surf t-shirts and all this, my brother had the hat with the two flaps that
Oh,
hung
yeah.
down,
Like
like the guy
the
in the Flash
Tasmanian
was.
devil hat.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, and it said like surf it on the top because, there were all those goofy
Yeah.
logos and whatever. But we started seeing these cool brands that, you didn't have in St. Louis. Then, around that same time, Kyril Bolt and Joni
Mm,
Bolt had been traveling around, and they were like, we got to bring this to St. Louis. And so they opened up Splash. It was just a teeny tiny little spot like next door to a Steak and Shake. And we would go there and get like surfing clothes is what we probably thought it was. And
Hmm.
then
Was
Is
that
this
they
the
had
the?
Rock
like,
Hill?
Yeah.
The
Is
Rock
that?
Hill
yeah, the Rock
location?
Hill one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And
nice.
that was the only place for
Yeah.
Hmm.
that I knew of. This is in probably 84. Do you know of other skate shops that
Well,
were around then?
it's
Have you heard
interest.
any?
Well, Harms kind of walked us. John Harms walked us through some
Yeah.
stuff that
Hmm.
kind of preceded Splash, but not a whole lot. There wasn't a lot. Um,
Yeah,
Okay.
I think when Splash starts, it might just been like a like a bike shop or something with
well, there
selling
was the
boards.
uh freaking canoe store that he was talking about.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
well, they
Yeah.
opened one in Chesterfield and that had all kinds of
Hmm.
stuff. But
But
when it started, yes.
I did recently like just I'll text here and there with Cairo and
Oh, you do? Yeah, he's so
he
nice.
just said January 25 was the 40th year that they've been open.
Oh my
So
God.
they started what's the math
January
there? So
85.
85.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
January.
tracks.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool. And they had like anytime you bought something there, they would take your picture and put it on the wall. So there was just the wall of a
No
Oh,
million
cool.
way.
pictures of
Yeah.
kids and
Yeah.
getting their first board and stuff. So
Hmm.
at some point in like eighth grade, I guess I met Joey Potoff and Steve Shomo, and they went to Concordia Lutheran School in Kirkwood, and they skated, and they had a couple other friends, and so that is how like I had started getting into the clothing first and the vibe that Splash had, and then Splash must have opened. Okay, so then they opened the Chesterfield location because not long after that, it must have been
Right.
late 85, early 86, something. And they
Yeah.
had my first demo that changed my life, which was Christian Hosoi, Joe
No
Lopes,
way.
and Per Welander.
Wow.
Wow.
At the
And they had that
Chesterfield
old like
location.
at the Chesterfield parking lot of out on Clarkson, and they had a beat up car that was all spray painted, and they had like a launch ramp that they would like go. I mean, they didn't like jump over it, but I'm sure it was just like a prop. But it
Yeah.
was so funny, and this giant parking lot just lined the entire way around with kids just standing there with their boards. And I have a picture that because our house is a mess, I don't know
Wow.
where it is, but I had one of the Jimmy's hats with the big puff
The beret.
in white, and with the Velcro.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Velcro
And
Yeah.
everything.
so I have a picture of me standing there with my head down, and Christian Hosoi is signing it, and that began my love affair for
Wow.
Christian. I
That's awesome.
Everybody I knew that I loved him
Yeah.
because this
Yeah.
story I was thinking about like preparing for this. This is, I mean, my skateboarding like changed everything for me, and I think probably anyone who ever really got into it. It is like being on another planet, kind of like with your own language and your own clothes and your own style and your own, publications and all that stuff. And it opened such a window to a bigger world for us. And so, like, for me, it just, like I said, shifted everything, but it brought culture. It was super fun. I skated like every day in high school. And then I also, because I'm a girl, was surrounded by lots of cute boys. So
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
had a million like crushes on
Yeah.
people, and lots of
Yeah.
anyway. So it was
It's
fun,
Yeah.
worked on a lot of levels.
it's interesting what you're speaking of because things are quite a bit more connected now than historically, right? So,
Right.
oh yeah, no way.
Yeah, he wants to be
Yeah.
in it too.
Hey, I got my
This is
Yeah.
dog.
He's
Rudy.
I got my little boy
Oh,
right
good.
or girl right here.
Todd's got Winnie, right?
Yeah, Winnie, she's cruising.
Yeah.
Oh, Winnie. All right,
Yeah,
this is the rude dog.
yeah,
All
I
right.
know
I love it.
he's a good boy.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So things are more connected
Yeah,
now,
things are
and
just
what were
more
you saying?
connected. So, like, dude, popping open a Thrasher, popping open a Transworld, that's like having a crew. That's kind of an introduction to all sorts of things that you
Yeah.
weren't. Yeah, so that was a
Oh,
very
it
good way of
just
getting
meant
exposed to things.
totally. And to be in Kirkwood, which I don't know.
What was Kirkwood like? I was kind of wanting to understand, like, I see Kirkwood now
Yeah.
and it seems kind of like a cool little downtown zone. Was it a little less of
hmm
that
Yeah.
early on?
It was much like there weren't like high-rise apartments down there. It was smaller town kind of vibe. And it was, yeah, like it was like a small town, and it wasn't as like, now it's more high dollar,
Yeah.
the houses are expensive
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. I'm sure I could
Mm-hmm.
not afford to move back to Kirkwood. Although I live in Webster right next door. It's not like I went very far. But it was, yeah, it was the perfect place to grow up. It was fantastic. And we had all kinds of kids at our school from every income level and, different racial origin. I mean, it was just like a
Sure.
Yeah.
big mixed up
Chris-
crowd. And I really appreciated that. So, and what I also love is like I was I was very artistic. I'm a graphic designer and artist now, and I was an artist then. I was, on the newspaper and the photographer for the newspaper and the editorial cartoonist and that kind of thing. And I was like the class officer for, senior class treasurer and
Mhm.
the girls pep club secretary. And, I was very active in my
Mhm.
school stuff and I was friends with like everybody, but I felt like I had this whole other life that nobody, like most of the kids who were, just your regular, I don't know, I guess I called them like socias or preps or whatever
Sure.
back
Yeah.
then. But of course, I'm like friends with all of them now. So I don't mean
Yeah.
any harm when I say that.
But
But,
did you,
you know,
just curious, did you have to hide that skater part of yourself
no, not
then?
at all. I like put it in
Like
their faces.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, we
Yeah.
kind of looked at them like, you guys have no idea, you dum-dums. You're just like going to play football and go to they just did
Yeah.
what they thought they were supposed to do. And they had no idea that there was this whole other way to live. And
Yeah.
kids from all over St. Louis, and then, of course, obviously all over the country and the world, that you could meet that. How are you ever going to do that if you just went to Kirkwood stuff?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like privileged to get to, know people from all over the place. And I laugh because I had never even heard the question of where did you go to high school? Like, how that's
Hmm.
such a big St. Louis thing because we
Yeah.
didn't even ask that. We asked where's your ramp? Where's your local
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
ramp? Do you
Where do you
skate
skate?
Hazelwood Ditch Ramp? Do you skate
Yeah.
South? Do you skate at Peas and Goofs? Do you skate at, whatever, the St.
That's awesome.
Charles? Who knows?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
knew kind of like what crew because you'd meet these people at the demo and or at a skate contest and stuff, and so then you knew like immediately what kinds of folks,
Yeah.
and we all kind of knew of each other, and then sometimes we get to skate with each other. It was really
Heck yeah.
cool.
So what was your first
Mhm.
skateboard? You were kind of going down the fashion route, if you will.
Yeah.
You right, grabbing some of the
um
gear. When did you get a board? And what board was
so
it?
I had a mini Bill Danforth,
Nice.
Heck yes.
and yeah,
I
always had to get a mini.
had
um
one of those.
Mini.
did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
with
was
the little
it was
skulls.
used, but I still had it. I had one. I bought it off Jeff. Yeah. The captain.
Well,
Yeah.
that's very fun.
Or he
um
might have gave it to me, but I had one for sure. It
I
was sick.
had the one. Wait, I gotta grab something real quick. I have all
Yeah.
my props. One
Aha.
sec, one sec.
We like
All right,
props.
I found a bunch of stickers. So I was in the
Baby
attic the
steps.
other day at my parents, and I found my old Nodus, which I think I got that like not too long after because just was
I,
reading in my Hello Kitty,
Dear
my
Diary.
Hello Kitty diary that I kept that I got or that I'd crashed or I was trying to do a wall ride with the Bill Danforth, and a giant chunk came off the nose
Oh
because I didn't know
no.
what I was doing. Because we didn't have
You know
YouTube
what?
back then.
You know what's crazy?
Hmm.
That same board, the same one I'm talking about, it's the same thing. Like Jeff and I were trying to learn wall rides, and that thing was all the nose was all bashed, but
Yeah.
it was better than the board I had.
Oh my
Just the
God.
nose is kind of jacked up, but I
If I
rode that board
recall,
for a
I
long
had a
time.
But you were traded too.
mini Alva board and they were not very
Wait, can you
good.
see this? The
Oh
Nomad
yeah.
Bill
Heck
That's
yeah.
Danforth.
yeah, yep.
I
Right on.
found that in
It
the
was
thing.
blue
It's got some
on
crazy
that
stuff. It
green
was
part,
blue.
yeah.
Trying
On
to
the
remember
green
which.
part, yeah.
I mean, dude, I wish we had.
I might even have a picture going off a jump ramp that I might have that
You
one.
gotta find that. All right, here's the one
Uh-huh.
with
Oh,
the
nice.
like
Yep.
it's
Dude,
white,
yeah.
but it's like the skinhead dudes. Oh
Hmm.
my God. I mean, do you guys still have your
I,
skate stickers?
Yeah. I got a shoebox
I
down in the basement for sure.
I
I've
love it.
kind of reacquired some. I think I lost a lot of them, but I have
Yeah,
some. Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
was
I
hard. You'd
surprised
have to
myself when I
decide
open up a shoebox, like, oh, I
that you
still have that
find
one.
something like
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't have any of the 80s ones. I don't know why I don't have any of the 80s ones that I might have had when I was, that
I didn't.
age.
The only time I was able to get stickers was working at the skate shop. You just grab a random one or two and then throw it in the bucket, you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Well, they were expensive.
Yes, they
Yeah,
were.
there was that too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if I
Um,
did buy them, I would put it on my board, I
Yeah, for
bet.
sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
remember I would only put it on my board if I had two, and then I
Yeah,
Ah,
nice.
would
save one back.
sacrifice one because I
Yeah.
had to hang them in my room. I like decorated with it, and
Yeah.
They were
decorated with them. And
amazing silk screen little pieces of art. So cool.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
whole other level. Like we talked about the fashion. Like for me,
Mm.
I copied so many logos. Like I'm sure I could
Oh
still
yeah.
do the OJ logo just right now
Oh
from
wow, yeah.
memory because I
Yeah.
would sketch things constantly. And I've realized later I've told my son. So I have two kids now, Tallulah who's 22
Oh,
and
well.
Finn is 19.
Yep.
And Finn
Awesome.
loves to. They both love to draw a ton, and they're both really talented. But Finn was kind of talking about wanting to work on stuff for his portfolio before he went to college, and I'm like, you should just start practicing, like draw the same thing over and over and over, like I would do with all these logos. And I mean, I think it helped me become a better artist. I know it did.
Yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
were
Or if
always
you
drawing, always drawing.
if you circle it back to skateboarding, if you do a kickflip 1,000 times over, it's gonna start to look a lot better for sure. So
I probably should have done that instead of drawing the logos over and
uh
over. I should have practiced my tricks over and over.
no, no.
So
Yeah, we did the same thing out of Thrasher. We would take
You
weird corrosion of conformity album covers and redraw that all the time, That was getting exposed to like art, music art at that level, or graphic
for
art for
well,
that
sure.
matter.
yeah, totally. Okay, wait, so did you work at Thrasher?
No, 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 no. I'm talking when I was 12, sitting in class.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Okay, I
same
gotcha, I
Yeah.
thing.
gotcha.
I would sit there at school and just draw the
Yeah,
logos and yeah, just loved it.
yeah, and every
It
notebook and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
magazines. Oh, dude, we haven't even. Okay, I'll wait till later because I keep getting ahead of myself. But I have so many. There's so many jumping off points that skateboarding like provided
Yep.
yeah.
me.
Yep.
It was really great.
So the first board was the Danforth, you said?
Okay, yeah, I think the first board was the Danforth, and
And then
I
you
didn't have a
got
whole
in.
bunch, and that, but then
Well, I
I got
remember
the.
you at Splash with that Nodus for sure,
You
because
do
that was such
okay.
an amazing board, one, and I had one. I had a mini that was purple. Might have had two. I think I had two of those in a row as a kid.
Yeah, it was a great board. My
But
brother
it was
has one
just a
too.
really, it's Nodus and whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
instantly
but
cool.
you stood out. If I'm sure Todd sent the questions. I couldn't remember. Were you the only girl skateboarding at Splash?
I
I
was the
couldn't.
only girl
I
that I
can't
even know
remember.
of in
Mhm.
St. Louis.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I've been I mean like I came across a little entry where I was like, we taught Steph. So Stephanie King was one of my best friends back
No
then, and
way.
yeah,
No.
do
Yeah,
you know her?
wow. Yeah,
Small world.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we were besties. Best we didn't say besties back then. I would have made fun of that, but
Yeah.
my kid says that, so even in jest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Steph
Right.
was my best friend, and but we like taught her. She had a little mini cab, of course, because she was dating Steve Caballero, and he gave
Yeah.
it to her.
I didn't know she
Um,
skated. Are you serious? No
well,
way.
she tried rolling.
Okay. Rolled
Yeah,
around.
and
Okay.
then
Yeah.
my friend Bethany Nagy. Do you guys know Bethany from
I
Kirkwood?
don't.
Also,
Mm,
she was again like right there at that first demo that I went to. And she had a mohawk back then and always wore U2 shirts and Vans. She was like the first person I met with Vans in like middle school, um, and in the 80s. So yeah, but there were no other girls. There were no other girls. I went to every demo, I
mm,
went to every contest, and there I was always the only girl. Then I heard tell of somebody named Shelby who was from the city, but I don't think I met her. Um,
okay.
but
So,
yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, and people knew of me. I mean, I never achieved amazing status of my skill because I didn't want it bad enough to get injured over and over. Like I could handle falling, like and getting a hipper and having my knees were always bashed up and my shins were always bashed up. But I was worried that if I like as I got to be a senior and then a freshman in college, I was really starting to be worried if I broke my wrist too much. I needed it to draw,
Oh, for
and I
drawing.
needed my,
Wow.
yeah. And I was an art major at University of Illinois, and I needed to have my brain. So
Yeah.
I,
Mhm.
and we wore helmets and stuff, but
Yeah.
not on the street. So I
Yeah.
just, yeah. So I
Yeah.
never like got really, really good, but I was pretty good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a girl.
Well, did you enter any of those splash contests? Because is that a
No,
memory of
no,
mine?
no.
No.
I am the
Okay.
least
Uh,
competitive person in
okay.
history.
I
Yeah.
thought maybe you were in one of those. I definitely remember you skating
Yeah.
there for
What
sure.
years are you talking about in terms of just going to the skate park at Splash?
So when did that even open? Like I
Matt,
might
was
have
that
even been,
88?
The really
was that
early on is 88, I'm pretty
okay?
sure. And then
And
there
it was
was
just open
80.
like a few days a
And
week or
I don't
something,
think
or
that one had a mini ramp at all. I could be
mm,
wrong about
mm-mm.
that. And then the next year is where they get, fuck, is there even a mini ramp at the second year? In
Yeah, there
89?
was. It was,
There
yes.
is?
Yeah. Then the year after that, there was
There's,
two mini ramps at that point.
Oh,
yeah.
dang. And
And then
see, I don't.
91 was the last summer, pretty sure.
Okay, so I don't even know. I went away to college in fall of '89.
Oh,
So then I would have
Oh,
just come
wow.
home, and skated there in the summer. But then I just stayed in Champaign because it was so cool. But
Yeah.
I'm wearing my t-shirt I worked at Streetside
oh, right
in
Oh,
the
cool.
Watson store. And so I would come back to work at Streetside in the summer, and then we would go skate too at that park,
No.
which was
Awesome.
super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah.
So who was the
But
crew around Kirkwood that you guys were skating with then, prior to leaving for
okay.
college?
So we had quite a lot of guys, and the central place where we skated was Adam Geggs. So Adam Gegg was
Ar-
He had
a
Arms
year
and
younger than
Houston,
me. Do you
he
guys
had
know
a,
him?
yeah.
I know
I
the name.
didn't,
Gegg's
but
ramp. He lived over on Clay, just off Kirkwood Road, and he had a vert ramp. And it was like that was where we went every single day after school. It was fantastic. And let's see, so my little posse, Joey Potoff, Tony Valley, Tyrone Cooley, Pasta. Do you guys remember no Pasta? Andy Lanzini.
Zini? Yep.
Um,
so
let's
lots
see,
of these
Chris
names.
Sessions, of course, Chris
Yeah, I know
Sessions,
Yep.
Chris.
Sesh,
Yeah.
who had a business card, which I found. I wish I had it right now. He had a little business card that said Chris Sessions, skater, and then it had his phone number and address, and the future primitive
Yes.
like little graphics were cut
Dude.
out on it. And
You
oh
want
my
to know
God,
something that's rad? Have you seen his Christmas list that makes the rounds about once a year that he
mm-mm.
presented to his parents? It's it's
I
quite
don't,
No,
detailed and
I,
awesome.
oh my
I don't think I've seen
gosh.
it.
He throws it up
Uh-uh.
on Insta every now and again, but like it's very detailed, old printer
Uh,
paper off the printer, the holes on the side.
His family is
mm,
so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
so his parents, he was just a young guy, like a little guy, and would come to the ramp. His parents would come and drop him off every time. And, we kind of course, I mean, we welcomed everyone, but you'd kind of make fun of the little skate rats,
Sure.
the Groms.
oh,
But
yeah,
Chris
that
would
was the
come and
culture
he was
then.
like, yeah, exactly. But he was so good that we loved it. And he went skating with us all the time. So like, let's see. Um, Jason Birmingham, Willie Van Zant. I don't see. Tim Jordan was one of them. Steve Taylor. It
Nice.
So
but
I'm
one of my best friend in high school was Dave Cummings.
Oh,
So
awesome.
nice.
he,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was South
yeah,
County, but he always hung out with us. He went to
yeah,
SLU. But hanging out with Dave then opened a world to so we skated all the time and hung out and watched skate videos all the time with that St. Kirkwood crew, but we were always going other places. So got to be pretty good friends with Pee Wee and Goof in South County, Gary Lorenz and Scott Lorenz. Do you guys know those guys?
I
I
don't.
think they all
So I'm so
right.
young at this time. I'm not really getting out of like Maryland Heights
Yeah,
because
I'm not
well, my
leaving the
mom's getting
neighborhood.
me to Splash.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I got the trips like to Splash, thankfully. That was awesome, but
Okay,
not
so
really
this would be
leaving Maryland.
the
I'm such
the
a little
people who
tank at
will.
this point.
You were a little guy,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe you could have
Yeah,
come to the ramp. We would have let you take some runs.
yeah.
Um, but like there were crews from like the South County guys we hung out with a lot. There were and Hazelwood. We ended up going to Hazelwood a lot, which ends up playing into my story when I ended up running into, I won't spoil it because it's
Oh,
such a fun story.
yeah.
But there was a ramp, like I think it was called Tebow's ditch ramp or something, and we went up there all the time. And the guys were Ron Hodges and Mike
Oh,
Hoffman. Do
Ron
you guys
Hodges.
know Ron Hodges? He had a
Well,
his
I,
shifter for
I,
his car was a skate wheel, like as that was the little knob.
wow,
Um,
Todd really knows him. I know of
No,
him, and
Todd doesn't know him. Todd remembers him with just like a little kid looking
oh,
at
like
a guy with like a dirt stash, like, whoa, look at this
yeah, yeah,
guy.
well,
Shane
he was like
Schroeder.
the star of like Future Skates, wasn't he? He was like an amazing skateboarder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I know. And so like as the shop started, well, wait, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to
Rewind.
Yeah.
Kirkwood
Yep.
when a new skate shop opened in Kirkwood. Because remember,
Yes.
Splash was in Rock Hill.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
when I was a freshman in high school, Skate World opened. And
Oh,
that
and
was
this
Skate World.
Skate
awesome.
World. It was in a basement. It was a small room down some stairs in a like masonite paneled room
This is
with
Dave Early's
Dave Early's
Dave
dad.
Early's
No
parents
way.
or
Really?
something.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It was across
I,
the street from Rexall.
I,
no.
yeah. I'm just
And
learning about this shop from just getting to know Dave a little better through the
oh,
years.
Dave is so
Yeah,
awesome. Dave is so
yeah, he
Oh,
awesome.
is. Yeah.
that's incredible. Wait,
So
was it at their house or was it like its own thing?
mm-mm. It was one counter
No
in a
way.
room in a basement, and it had a logo that was like clip art from. It was horrible, but we could walk up there,
Yeah.
and we'd go to Rexall. And I remember my friend Jenny Johnson and I went and got cherry flavored cigars from Rexall, and we go to Skate World, and then we would like sit on the curb and smoke a cigar, and then feel like we're gonna throw up. Um, and it was like near there that I have been arrested for no, I got taken to the station. I didn't get arrested for
Ooh, yeah,
skateboarding.
Scared
Uh,
straight.
ne- yes,
yeah,
over there. You're right, exactly.
yeah,
We were like, we're just like going up and down like a loading ramp. I don't
Mhm.
even know what we were, but they called our parents to come pick us up. It was like me and Joey and
yeah.
Steve Shomo and Jenny. And I remember my mom was so pissed off because she had to go pick us up, and she was like, "What? You guys were doing nothing." So my parents were very supportive of the
Yeah,
That's awesome.
skateboarding.
that is
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
hey, while we're talking about skate shops in Kirkwood,
mhm.
let's talk about Island Water Sports.
Okay, so
That was in
that was
Kirkwood. Yes?
that
No,
was in
No.
that was in
Ladue,
Ladue. Ladue.
Ladue.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Ladue on
okay.
Clayton Road,
Hmm.
um, real close to like kind of a little bit down from Sportsman's Park where that restaurant is. Um, and it was kind of like a shishi kind of snobby kind of vibe, but then it had all the best demos, and of course it brought us skate camp,
Skate
which
camp
was in Kirkwood.
was in Kirkwood. Okay, okay.
That okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Maybe that's what you're
skate
trying
camp
to
should be its
bring up.
own capsule of
Well,
discussion.
dude, what's interesting is
Yeah, yeah.
someone like yourself living in Kirkwood, skateboarding at that time. Like, I gotta ask, like, did you guys know this was coming and was like, holy shit, like this is amazing?
Dude,
Or did it just land on
we
you? Like,
it kind of was like that. We knew about it a few months in advance, enough that my friend Bethany Nagy, who I was talking about with the Mohawk, um, we started creating cartoons like counting down to what we hoped skate camp would be like. And we created a cast of characters. And I mean, the
Wow,
dreams that we had for
that's
what it
so
would
cool.
be were just blown away because it was so amazing. Like, how could you possibly conjure that there would be 6 weeks or something, or 8 weeks of something like that? Yeah, it went till the end of July. So, of every pro imaginable coming to Kirkwood for a few days,
yep.
like a whole bunch of sponsored AMs who we'd read about everybody in the magazines. That was the thing. Like we had our magazines every month. We knew who everybody was. We had their pictures on the walls, or we'd at least read about them. And then all of a sudden,
Mhm.
they're less than a mile from my house.
Yeah.
And the dorms for skate camp were at Wash U.
Wait,
Oh,
really?
really? Huh.
Yeah,
That's
they
not
were able
close.
And
to.
they shuttle them back and
I
forth or
know.
something?
So me and Steph and like Bethany, we would drive people to, and my
Wow,
other
yeah, yeah.
friends, Nancy Moore and Amy Bell, we would drive the guys back and forth. They had a bus that took the campers and stuff. But me and my girlfriends got to be really good friends, and a bunch of like processions and some other people who were, you know, frequented skate camp, got to be good friends with all the counselors. So um,
Man.
uh,
Who were the
I
counselors?
can't even.
Was it local people or did people come in for it?
No,
No.
no, it was
Okay.
no local people. It was no local people. It was oh
So
my
they'd be
God.
like AMs being
They were AMs
counselors.
Counsel.
who
Yeah.
we'd
Yeah.
heard of. So Bill Tocco,
Oh, wow.
from
Yep.
Detroit,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
let's see, Jimmy O'Brien and John Hughes and Lenny Bird from
No way.
they're
Down
from
south.
Atlanta,
Yeah, yeah.
down south,
Mhm.
and we had Don Fisher,
Fish. Yeah, dude.
Fish.
NorCal. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
He was there for the whole summer. Peanut Brown
Oh,
was
wow.
there for the whole summer.
Yeah.
Chris Borscht was there for a while. Blaze Bluen
Oh,
was there the
wow.
whole summer. I mean,
Rest in
those are
peace.
buds. And so like
Yeah.
it wasn't even just, I mean, I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
How could you have a more perfect life than it being
Mind
I
in Kirkwood?
blown.
We were blown away. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That was our lives.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was if I was that age and I knew that was showing up in town. Actually, if I was my age right now and I knew it was showing up in
Yeah.
town, I'd be kind of counting down like, "Whoa, who's coming? Like, what's this
Yeah.
going to be
Who's
like,
coming? And
Right?
then every week, every session. So it was like in weeks. And I did never actually pay to be
I was curious. Like
a
you're just
camper.
hanging out. You're just
I just
hanging.
got them to, because when you're a girl, you can get in stuff. So I got them to make me a pass, and so
Nice.
I just got to go every week, and except for the
Awesome.
week that I got grounded for, because one night we all went because we'd hang out at the WashU
Yeah.
dorms with the guys, and we were good kids, but one night
Yeah.
at a kind of a wild evening. I smoked pot for the first time uh, with Mickey Alba.
BIO. Bio.
Nice. Now we're talking. Now we are talking.
And, he had a
Amazing.
bong that was shaped like a
Oh,
Buddha, and
oh my God.
yeah, and then but that night we all the girls told our parents that we were spending the night at one another's houses, and
Oh
then of
yeah.
course one of the moms
You know
ended
the
up,
deal.
there
Yeah.
was no Find My Kid,
Yeah.
app.
Right.
So but somehow we got found out, and the ultimate punishment was that I never got grounded ever. The only time I ever got grounded was then because I lied. I don't even think, well, I remember I smoked pot, and then I had Three Little Kings cream ale, which I'm sure, do you guys remember those? They drank
I
that was
don't.
like
Uh-uh.
basically what everyone drank back then. It was disgusting, and I'm sure I threw up. Um, so yeah, I got in trouble, and I didn't get to go to skate camp for like multiple days, which was terrible.
Oh man.
I felt like I was missing out big time. But yeah, so like there would be different pros every week. So like Billy Ruff and Ken Fillion would be there one week, and then the next week, Christian Hosoi and I don't know, Adrian Domain or whatever. And then they had the VP Fair like right in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and
Uh-oh.
that demo just had everyone. And so then those pros would all come out
Was
to skate
that
camp.
88 or 87?
80, oh
That's
God, I don't remember. 87 or
I
88.
can't
I'll
remember
have
when the
to
skate camp
I'll have to
is.
look back
I think
into
it might have
my
been
I didn't
87.
I didn't realize the camp overlapped the VP Fair. That's yeah, St. Louis was having a
yes,
heck of a
dude, St.
time
Louis.
with
And
the
then okay, wait,
skateboard
I
world.
gotta get my
I didn't
thrasher. Okay,
put
here's
Oh,
those
yeah.
when
dates
it
together.
when it was at St. Louis out of control. And of course, I couldn't wait to look at it to see if I was in there. And then I remember there was this picture of these two chicks, and I was like,
Who's
man,
that?
of all the people there, why would they put these two girls with the big old poofy bangs? And
So you know what's funny? That issue or another one where they covered the demo contest. In the contents, there's a picture of Craig Johnson with some cheerleaders.
oh
That's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
that's
Oh, here it
actually
is. This right here.
no, it's like in the contents page. Like Craig
Oh, and
Johnson's
the
like,
contents.
yeah. It's the
That must
neighbor
have been an outtake
it's the
because there's
neighboring
Jeff
high
Rosso.
school, like where I grew up, because I saw the
Oh,
colors and I was like, oh
no
dude,
way.
he's fraternizing with the enemy. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's lame. We would have made fun of him. But yeah, that it was so freaking incredible.
That's
And
awesome.
in the meantime, so like I'm skating. Okay, so like I got to be real. Oh, one of the counselors there at skate camp was Reese Simpson,
Oh, rad. Yeah.
and I got to be really good friends with him. And he challenged me, um, if I would drop in on. Do you guys know Firestone?
Yeah.
Glenn's big
Yeah.
fiberglass ramp. So if I would drop in on Firestone, he would give me one of his new Reese Simpson decks that had
Oh,
just come
wait.
out.
The Firestone, they had that on tour with BBC. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that the reason why it
yeah,
was set up?
it was set up. Glenn was always setting that thing up, but it was at VP
Yes, it
for some
was.
reason. So I dropped in at VP and I was able
Oh,
to get
heck
to the other
yeah.
side and front side grind.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
No way. So rad.
yeah, so I got the board. I was very stoked. But
Hell
like, why do
yeah.
we not have pictures of that? Because no one had I had camera a
Yeah.
lot of the time, but I couldn't take pictures of myself.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I just got some
That's
good,
so
I got some
cool.
Well,
good
actually,
vibes.
aside from skate camp, then what was up with the VP fair? I'm assuming you guys went down to for that whole thing then too,
Oh
yeah?
yeah, we totally went down for all of it. And so the first year that they had VP, um, yeah, so that was 87 and 88, I guess they did VP. And I
Yeah.
think 88 must have been skate camp. I think that's right.
I think it's
Um,
86. I don't want to be that guy,
oh,
but
86
yeah,
and 87.
it's 86 for the VP demo and then 87 for
Oh, for the
the
contest.
contest one. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
Yeah.
the contest, I
And
just
I think
learned
skate camp's 87. I think
Yeah,
skate
that sounds
camp's
right.
80,
the
Yeah,
87
between my
too.
sophomore and junior
the
year. Okay.
contest was
Yeah.
kind of a bumble because it wasn't a contest. Everyone got paid straight away. And apparently
Huh,
it was kind
really?
of according to Jeff Kendall, he told me this. He said that
Oh.
his words were the hotel was insane. He's like, there was
Oh.
no
Well,
contest. He said everyone was raging.
well, it was the highest purse ever at that point in time,
Then maybe it was the
for
year
sure.
previous where there
I
was
don't
no
know.
purse and everyone just got paid out, and that's why it was a demo.
It was just a demo, yeah.
There you
I don't
Oh,
go.
think it was marketed as a contest. I don't know.
I
But
don't think
the
the first one
second
was,
one's
yeah.
definitely second one's definitely a
Hmm.
contest.
Mm.
But
And
that
it
and
was
yeah.
crazy. There were so many people there. So all the skate camp people went down, and that way we got access to, I mean, we knew so many pros. Like we hung out with them. We were the ones driving, like Neil Blender would be in town for something, and then we would take him out to, South County Vert Ramp. We knew where all the ramps were, and we were girls, so we got to take people everywhere. And not to be like all like that, but it was cool. Like we
No,
got to
now's the time.
know
Yeah.
Now's the time to
everyone.
be
No,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, and since Steph was dating Cab, like, I remember at VP one night, like, we sat and hung out and watched fireworks on the lawn with Cab and Tony Hawk, and I remember Tony Hawk asked me if I wanted to go out sometime, but I was dating somebody already, so I had to say no. And of course, my kids loved that story because they're like,
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like we got to know so many people pretty well, and Christian Hosoi, I didn't. I had like such a like heart, just my heart was pounding for him. He did not like me at all. He was always liking like the well hottie women, and I was a skater, and but I just thought he was so cool. And from that very first demo, he was wearing just his style. He had on a string of pearls that was like swinging around, so just effortless, jumping off these launch ramps. And I took so many great pictures back then of him with his pearls like flying. And then, he'd rip his t-shirts off and have all these shreds of t-shirts. He'd like stick them in his
Just
Jimmy's
flare,
pants so they'd be
flare
flying while
everywhere.
yeah, he had so much flair and style and had an amazing body, and he was tan. And, I
Dude,
had a little,
I loved it as a
you
kid.
probably
He
have a
was
crush on him. I
fuck.
mean,
Yeah, dude, he was ripping. And
I
then
would say I had a crush on anyone who was bleach blonde Polynesian. That was my type
Yeah.
so
back then.
and
The long bangs and the bleach blonde tips.
yeah.
And yeah. But so Christian, like Steph and I would take him out to like hula hands or whatever dumb restaurant. you and like
Christian
the
needs
Gons, we
Christian needs nachos. Come on.
yeah, exactly. We're like, okay, let's take them. Um, dude, and then and back to my folks, like my parents drove us freshman year. So that was I think that was 86, 85, 86. The Chicago blowout
Steph
happened.
told me about this.
Damn, you went up
Oh,
there?
You guys went up to this.
Steph
No
didn't
way.
go, but
She
Bethany
didn't.
and I went.
Bethany.
She didn't go to
Okay.
that, but she and I went to
So
she came to Bluegrass Aggression Session.
In Louisville.
do you
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you, so you went to both of those? Is that what you're
So
saying?
we went, yeah, so we went to Chicago blowout first, and that was before I hung out with Steph.
Hmm.
I was with
Are
Bethany, and my mom and stepdad took us, and my brother and his friend Mike Hashbarger, and we drove up
yeah.
in a big old
So
Cadillac that they had to borrow.
back to
But
your
we saw,
Thrasher comment. Do
yeah,
you have you seen those videos? Are you in the background or in a shot
yeah.
of any of those
So
videos?
like
I would
15 or 20 years ago or something, they did the Gator documentary, and I started getting a bunch of emails from people saying, "Mars, you and Bethany are in the in the Gator
No
documentary."
way.
because you're in the
Yes.
background, aren't you? In
Yeah,
or
we're like,
in a
I think
shot
we walk
of
by and go like that or
Chicago
something.
Chicago blowout or what?
Yeah, we were in the blowout. I don't, I'm sure we were
Or
in
it
the
could
background
be
of the
either
video,
one of those. Yeah, yeah.
but
Because
I
you went to
remember,
both,
like, of
so
course, anytime a video came out after something we'd been to, we would have to watch it immediately to see if we were in it.
Sure.
I could have
Oh, and
I could be crazy. Sorry. I'm in my
well,
own
I'll
head
get a
about like
like, uh,
I'm I do this like skate nerd shit of like staring at skate videos, and I think I thought I noticed you in the background. Anyways,
I
crazy. Yeah.
very well may have been there.
Yeah.
And just in my journal the other day, I have no memory of this, but I was reading it to my husband, to like try to get back in the mindset of all this stuff, and um I read that we went up to Island Water Sports to watch the skate camp video. There was a skate camp video made
No
after
way.
it. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm in it a whole
Damn.
bunch of times. And I keep saying
God,
the
I
word
wish
excellent.
that
So where is
existed
that? Like,
somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
how do
who
we get
has
our hands
that?
on that?
No
So
We gotta
way.
talk
there's
to maybe John Harms has it.
Um,
that's a Jeez, that's
I
another
don't
one
know. We might have
that's
to
the first
find.
I've
So
ever
Jer
heard of that.
I
And there's
know.
this other,
yeah.
anyways, there's
Does
other
anybody
videos
have
that like I
access
know.
to oh, well, does anybody have
Oh,
access to
well,
talking
who?
Jerry
It's
Combs
the
and
Combs, right? I think
Judy, his wife?
Sessions might be in some sort of contact with them,
I'll
but
talk
I'm
to him.
not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I
we
want to
all
see that
do.
video.
Yeah. That
Chris
sounds
is super
incredible.
awesome. We could all reach out to Chris and ask
Yeah,
him.
Chris is a
So
good archivist as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hey man,
He's amazing.
my daughter's looking at my setup. She's like, "What is going on
Oh,
here?"
Get her in there.
yeah, have her come in.
You want to come in here? Come on in the podcast?
See what we're
No,
doing. No?
she's too nervous. She's just
Oh,
tripping out on all the lights.
well,
Yeah, look at
so
my fake lighting.
So
I know I have a light too.
you guys went up to Chicago. You went down to Louisville. Yes?
We went to Chicago, we went to Louisville. And my mom was always down for
Just driving
trying
you
to
guys.
find the pros hotel. That was her big thing. Like, we got to find out where the pros are staying.
And
She
do
was just
what?
as
So
into it
she
as
was
me.
Get
Dude, she
stickers?
was the best. And like, we would on the drive home from
she would
Louisville or whatever, we'd be like, okay, let's go around the car. And you know how you try to play card games. And even with my parents, it'd be like, all right, we're going to try to go around and name a pro skater or an am. But you try first to try to do a pro with each letter of the alphabet. So we're like going around, and like my folks knew everybody because I was
Dude,
always talking about them, and my brother
this
was
is the
too.
kind of
So
game me and Matt play right now still.
yeah,
Jesus. Name the pro from 86. Go.
it was good times. And my mom was all in trying to help us like find these people. So we I remember in Louisville, so Steph must have already been dating Cab, because after the bluegrass aggression session, we went out to dinner. Steph and I went out to dinner with the entire Powell Peralta team.
Oh, wow.
And it was just me, Steph, and then Lance Mountain, Tommy Guerrero, like everyone. And
Oh, wow.
they were so freaking funny. We laughed. And Steph and I didn't drink. We were like total straight edges. And I don't even know if they were drinking or smoking or what they were doing, but people were so funny. And, Animal Chin, like that was our Bible practically.
Yeah.
We'd memorized every single word of that movie. And then there we're with them, and they were just cool and funny. And Tony Hawk, like everybody was just normal, regular, funny, and
Oh, that's
welcoming,
awesome.
and
that's
just
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of
Dude,
times like that.
so aside from traveling out of town, then what were some of the other demos outside of skate camp and stuff that were going on?
Some of the other demos. Okay, so
Wait, hold on. Are you in Champaign at this point? Are you
no, this was all in when I was in high school, and
okay.
I went away to college in '89,
Okay.
and I did skate there a little bit too, but my heyday was definitely high
Yeah.
school. But we I mean, we went to any demo there was in any contest. So Island Water Sports had several. Skates Plus. Have you guys heard of Skates Plus? Again, that's in Hazelwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I grew up
Wait,
in Maryland Heights, so that
Okay.
was
on the rock?
actually
Oh, by the mall. Yeah,
uh,
yeah, on the Rock
um
Road and such.
close-ish for my mom to get me over there. So we'd
It
go
was
there
just north of
sometimes.
the Ford factory and like
Yeah,
McDonnell
and then
Douglas
for a
and all that.
minute, right before it closed, they were closer to Northwest Plaza.
Oh,
Oh,
For
okay.
okay.
about, yeah.
Of course we had
So,
then later we had Altered Skates and
yep,
I was on Team Onion.
Nice.
Uh
nice.
I have a little tank top from back then. Um
Yeah.
because Glenn was such a so we met Glenn right when I first started, so I was probably 15 years old, and we have a photograph that John Harms probably took of Bethany and me. We are both down on our knees on the ground, and we're like bowing down to him like this, and Glenn is standing over us, like he's like putting his arms out, like he is like giving us a blessing or something like that. And we would call him Glenn the skate god because we were just getting into all this. And he had this like cool, I don't even know, was it like a Toyota 4Runner or something like that with skate stickers all over the back of it? And I don't know, man.
Did he
That was
have
at the beginning when we
did he
were
have the
kind of
shop
getting
going
into
on
it.
in the loop at that point? Was it during that time?
No, no,
No.
that was before the shop
Okay.
there. That was been, okay. So I first met
And Alton or
Glenn
whatever.
there was a demo at Union Station that Splash put on, and Glenn brought the Blue Bowl up from DeSoto, which was like a multi-part
Yep.
bowl, and that is where I met Dave Cummings and Steve Noble, who was like, I mean, they were probably had the best style of anybody back then that I can think of locals. Mike Brady was
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
He was probably the best technical skater that we knew. I mean, but that was the thing, like street skating, we did it as a means to an end. Like we would do it if we didn't have a ramp, but really it was all about
Yeah.
ramps.
So
And
Marcy, can I ask you about this Mike Brady?
yeah,
Do you remember if he was on Island? Was he on Island
I don't even know if he
Motorsports?
was on a skate team at all. He was very quiet and
But is he Harms's buddy? Harms is
yeah,
good buddy.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So
Harms was
that's
talking
yeah,
about him quite a bit. Like it sounded like
yeah,
yeah,
John met him very early on and then he got
hmm
good.
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
And
yeah.
he had no like pretense about him. He had no, he always wore sweatpants and a plain t-shirt. He just wanted to skate and he was just
Mm.
so
Yeah,
effortless and so, it appeared effortless. He was so good.
yeah.
But just a really kind of quiet guy who was really you saw him all the time. So he was at that demo. That was where I met, and it was also a freestyle bicycle demo. So because I guess Splash had just opened the Chesterfield store, and so okay, here's a good story from back then. So my friend Bethany and I, this was freshman year before I started really skating. I don't even know if I had a board yet. And we'd gone to the Christian Hosoi demo, so we'd realized like, okay, this is an incredible thing that is happening in St. Louis. We have got to get totally integrated in this. And we decided had gotten a few copies of Thrasher under our belt by then, and we were like, we are going to start our own skate zine.
Oh,
So
rad.
we made, and we're both artists. And Bethany's dad had a Tibor Nagy. He had a graphic design studio in his basement in Kirkwood, and we created our own skate zine called Splish Splash St. Louis Thrash, sponsored by
Yes,
Splash.
Yes.
nice.
So
Did he
Splash,
help?
like,
Did he help you a little bit?
yeah.
Like
So we did
that's
every day
awesome.
ourselves. And we took the pictures. Then we would go. This is before computers, so we went to. He had a photo stat machine, and we cut everything
Hmm.
out, and we made all the pictures, and we did interviews. And there's an interview with Mike Brady. I gotta find a copy of it. I mean, so they would give it away at Splash. So that was our
Oh,
big thing.
that's so
And
cool.
then we got to interview all these cute skateboard guys,
No way.
and
Hmm.
we would that under the pretense like we could get their phone number because we were like, well, we have
Yeah,
to do an interview and we might have follow-up
Gotta
questions.
call you.
So we
Right.
yeah, yeah. So were you
but
able
it
to get some of the pros and AMs you're hanging out with
yeah,
and
we
interview
got,
them?
well, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
before, this was at the Blue Bowl demo when we did this.
Okay. Okay.
We
Yeah.
only had one issue of our zine, only one.
Limited.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was a limited edition, and if you have a
yeah,
copy, boy, are you lucky. Jim
yeah.
Nissen is on the cover, and he was from Chester. He was a Chesterfield skater, and freestyle bike rider. Um, and but like we interviewed so many people, and then we did like little profiles of people. So there was a guy named Wade who John Harms might have talked to. John Harms was one of the ones interviewed. We had like little, we
Oh,
tried to
cool.
follow
Mhm.
the vibe of Thrasher, where it was like, a little
Yeah,
bio and
Yeah.
what's your
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
bands? What's your favorite whatever? We had to type it on a typewriter and then cut it out and paste it up the old fashioned way. And we made photocopies of it at my dad's office. So
Nice,
yeah, it
nice.
was
Nice.
a real
Hey,
low
who
budget
who was the
operation.
demo at Union Station? Was it just a get
It,
together, or
it
was there
was
somebody
just
in
the
town?
Splash. It was Splash Skate Team is
Okay,
what they called it.
got it.
And so like Dave Cummings was in it, Steve Noble, just a bunch of people who were really
Yep.
good gymnasts and not a ton of people. But what after that demo, I then got my first job, which was making the snow cones at Splash at Chesterfield.
Wait,
So
hold on. They
I
had a
don't remember the
snow
snow cone
cone
stand.
maker?
they
Really?
had
Yeah.
a Miami Ice like shaved ice machine
Miami
at
Ice?
Wow.
yes.
The full
And I made it and I
beach
poured the syrup
vibe
on there.
culture
That
being
was new.
sold.
Remember the
Yeah,
snow cones
shaved
before that
ice.
in St. Louis were the real grainy ones.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
this was a new wave. It's
No
probably from
way.
Yeah,
the coast.
yeah.
But
Dude,
yeah, so
it's
that demo was rad.
Splash is kind of funny because I think I have an understanding of how retail works. You created an experience and that sort of thing. And like going into Splash, dude,
Hmm.
they were pumping that place full of smells. Like I can smell it, I just can't describe it. You know what I mean? Aside from
Well,
screen
my
What?
first
boards.
my first memory is an actual surfboard, and then the tanks with the fish in
Yes,
it,
the fish under the
and
dressing room. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
about that.
right. And
Yeah.
but that
At the yeah.
I don't think I got was going there until probably 87 or something. I
Well,
got
and
my
it, you know,
first pro board there at like
yeah, your
in
pro board, not a
87.
not a Veriflex from Casey or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, they were early in on it, and then I do feel like, then kind of the more real skate shop,
Yeah,
like Glenn
sure.
then open altered, and then things got a little more like,
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, and then Splash started
Today the kids
swimsuits and
say core, I think.
oh
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it got
yeah.
more
So
core.
no,
yeah,
yeah, just thinking about how fashion was going, you were bringing surf culture into the inside of the country, and that was a thing, and they were early on it, which is
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, they just had a vibe going like the footwear wall was a sandbox. Like, think about that. Like, you stood in sand while you were looking at shoes. You know what I
Oh my
mean?
God, yes.
Remember that, right? When
Holy
you walked
cow.
in
I
to the
forgot
right?
about that.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah, because they were so creative. Joni Bolt was
yeah,
super progressive with ideas, and the parents were so nice. I mean, the whole
yeah,
family was
yeah,
in on it. You might go and the dad would be working behind the counter or whatever, but
yeah.
you got to meet, I don't know, I just love that we just would meet people from
yeah.
all over the place and find out about these different, like the Rasta Bowl was a
Up in North
place up in
County.
I'm
North County.
Yeah,
jealous. I never got to go.
I
So
went out there a
Yeah.
few
jealous.
times. Yeah, that thing was
But
crazy.
the thing I found, well, when I was doing my research, which I'd kind of forgotten about, was that we skated a lot of ditches.
Hmm.
So I refer to the Baxter ditch, the 170
Oh,
ditch,
yes.
the Venture
I'm
ditch.
so glad you brought both those first two, Baxter, because Todd and I brought that up to Harms, and we thought he
Mhm.
was talking about Baxter,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
turns out it wasn't. But Todd and I
Oh,
know about Baxter Ditch. And
well,
then
yeah,
I 170 Ditch is a huge part of my like young kid
because
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a
really
lot of people
nice.
knew about it. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people knew
yeah,
about it because
right.
we would go there and there'd be people skating it. It was that level of known about, you know?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I mean, if
Yeah.
you didn't have access to a ramp, that was your only
Yeah, yeah,
opportunity.
yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine if we would have had skate parks. I'm sure every person you
Oh
talk
my
to, like if
God.
we would have had skate parks when we were growing up, it would have been a whole different story to
Yeah,
have that kind
yeah,
of
for sure.
yeah.
opportunity. Um,
But all the
but
adventure we had,
Yeah,
oh, but yeah, we learned about neighborhoods all over the place because of
for
it.
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I found a notation in my journal that I was so pissed off because we went to Baxter Ditch and the guys from Splash had spray painted
Oh
some kind of
God.
Oh,
like graffiti on there, and then the parks department came or the sewer department and they sandblasted it, and we were
Oh
so
God.
mad because every time we went for weeks after it was all sandy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
in the bottom.
Yep.
We couldn't, we tried
Messing
to
up the
sweep it out and
spots,
everything.
man. They
Yeah.
messed up
I
the
know. I
spots.
made notes. Yeah. Um, because okay, so then, well, I'm glossing over a whole lot from St. Louis, but I went to school in Champaign, Illinois, and that is where Skate and Annoy, like the zine,
Skate and Annoy.
which
Where have
Skate
I
and
I
heard
feel
Annoy
like
that?
is
I've heard
probably
of
the
it.
biggest zine from the 80s and
Yeah, I feel like
beyond.
I've
Who
seen
made
it
that?
Yes,
just by like,
Randy Golick. If you look it up, like it was the zine.
I think there's
Um,
scanned versions out there on the internet.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that
mhm.
Yeah.
before.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's in Portland now, but he was a Champagne guy. And Mike Poor was another he still is a really good skateboarder and wind surfer or something like that. I don't know. He does I mean,
Okay.
everybody has
Not
kind of
Mike
moved
Poor,
on.
the filmer, Todd.
Yeah, that's
No.
what I was thinking. I was like, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Different
Okay.
age. Yeah. There is
okay,
a
yeah.
filmer, yeah, by the same name.
Um, but one thing that was like right when I got to school, and this is speaking back to kind of skateboarding as this like little secret society kind of like it was back then. Like if you met another skater, you just instantly knew they were cool or
Yeah.
hoped that they would
Yeah.
be. Not everyone was cool, but you
Chances
just knew
were.
that they were different.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
could talk to them and hang out and ask them where the skate shop was and ask them what bands
Hmm.
might be playing that week or whatever and wherever you were traveling. So when I went to U of I met this guy Matt Daly who was from Chicago and Dales is what we all called him. And he introduced me then to his guy from his dorm, Andy Mueller,
Oh, wow.
who is
Quiet
from
Life.
Edwardsville. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back then he was like uh into BMX and stuff. And
Hmm.
of course we made fun of BMXers in that era. But but Andy it was hilarious and super cool. And he is now one of our, super good buddies all through college, we had a really tight crew and an amazing music scene in Champaign at the time.
Mm.
A lot of bands got signed. This was like when Smashing Pumpkins was kind of coming up. I think they stole their sound from Hum, which was a Champaign band.
That's a
Oh, that's a
Um,
Champagne
great band.
band? Hum?
yeah, yeah,
That's
Really?
those were
great.
our buddies. Like, so
No
that was like
way.
our
Yeah.
whole scene. And Andy did all the artwork for Hum back then and all
Is
the
is
bands. Like
that that
he
album cover that's like bright green with like
with the
zebra?
zebra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Andy did that.
No kidding. I did not know that. Huh.
Yes. And he also was always like making his own t-shirts, which was a thing near to my heart. My Bethany and I would silk screen and do like stamp our own fishbone shirts and like we would always make
Mhm.
art projects and t-shirts and stuff. And Andy, I remember always had homemade Smith's shirts that he would wear. And so we of course instantly gravitated toward him. And of course Andy then goes on to be like art director for Girl and
Yeah,
Lakai
Mhm.
yeah,
and Quiet Life,
yeah,
and he's still
That's
in the scene.
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's still doing all
Yeah.
kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, he does. He is a neat dude. But I remember when I was a freshman at U of I got my issue of Trans World. And do you remember there was I don't know if they had it by the time you guys were kind of paying attention to it, but there was a column every month of like 3 or 4 pages of people to watch. It was like they
Checkouts?
get a one page. Yeah,
Yeah,
checkouts,
yeah,
checkouts.
sure,
There you
sure.
go.
Yeah.
So there was a checkout of Dan Esterbrook was the guy, and he um, was from the East Coast, and he was going to be coming to. It said in his little bio that he was going to be starting as a. He was getting his master's in photography at University of Illinois, and I was so stoked because Dan was cool, and he knew so many people. Like he was friends with Spike Jones and stuff, and
Oh, wow.
he came to U of I, and then I was in the art department, and he was in the art department. So like we would go to there was like 2 ramps in Champaign,
Yeah.
and one of them was at a church. But I then had like a little group of cool
Oh,
people to
that's
go
cool.
skating with. My friend Carl
Oh,
Kingery
cool. Yeah.
um, took us to Mike Poor's ramp, and yeah, it was a neat little scene too. But I did by 1991. I'm sure I like had kind of like my skateboarding had gone down. Then we would just ride bikes to
Mm.
class and stuff, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the
it
back
just
half of
didn't.
the college education. You got to kind of hunker down to get it over with, more or
Well,
less,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pay attention
Yeah.
and get my degree, but still, it it's the publications themselves had infiltrated me so deeply, like the vibe that like when you were talking about Thrasher, that the advertising might just be somebody's hand lettering and a picture, and like maybe they'd crush it up and like throw it in the trash can, and then open it back up and then
Yep.
Xerox it and make the ad. And that just and the editorial that they would make up names like, remember Chef Boy Am I Hungry
Chef Boy, am I
for
hungry? Yeah, totally.
scarf and material. Like
Yeah.
the idea that you could just make up
Yeah.
whatever you want. So I was influenced so deeply by Thrasher and Transworld. Thrasher, I feel like was more approachable, and I loved the writing and it was so funny, but Transworld kind of had this style
It
edge
was more
that,
glossy than Thrasher. Thrasher was
yeah,
basically a zine, if you think about it,
yeah, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was like black and white
Newsprint
the
and
first.
stuff. Yeah.
Totally, totally. And Transworld was, yeah, like more high style, but
Art
there was so much.
art direction was a
It
little better,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, the art
Transworld.
direction was very creative and kind of
In
cutting
those
edge. And
years for
so,
sure. Yeah.
right. And as I was growing up, the great dichotomy of Marcy is, and I dig on it because it's who I am, but that like I am really, I'm a huge gardener. I'm a huge decorator. I love beauty and I love color and um, you know, creating lovely interiors is really important to me. I grew up with my mom subscribing to like House Beautiful and Better Homes and Gardens and all these decorating magazines. And so decorating and decorating magazines were like ingrained in me. And the magazine itself, the magazine experience, being able to kind of like get into whatever community that you're talking to through this magazine. So I didn't think about decorating magazines that way at the time, but when I was in college, Martha Stewart Living came out as a magazine,
Okay.
and I remember it was so beautiful and so well done and so incredibly different than anything else that was out there. And I brought issues of Martha Stewart Living to my design classes, and I brought issues of Trans World to my
Yeah.
Mhm.
design classes, and I would talk about like these are publications, very different, couldn't be more different, different audiences to the core, but these are talking to these little niche
Yep.
communities. I mean, Martha Stewart ended up becoming huge, but at the time it was like kind of like the homemaker who
I was
wants
going to
to
ask you,
elevate.
is Martha Stewart back then like the Martha Stewart we know now, or was it different?
She was big because she had a big book. She had a book
Cookbook.
called Entertaining and Gardening. Like she was a homemaker
Oh,
and she had a
okay.
TV show. But the magazine came out in 1990 or 1991, I think. And she changed everything. I mean, she changed everything. And so she
Yeah.
then was such a businesswoman and,
She's a
got
brand.
her products
Yeah.
all over the place. So she was pretty big pretty quickly. And just such a hard worker. I mean, she's still is cranking away and she's in her 80s. And she's still a babe.
Yeah.
So, it gives us hope. So like that magazine was so rad though, but I feel like between Martha Stewart and Trans World and Thrasher, I learned so much about how to craft a message. And then Sassy magazine, which then also had Dirt, which was
Ah,
the
yeah.
cool dude
Yep.
version. Did you guys have that?
I
Like Spike
do recall
Jones
those.
worked
Yeah.
on
Yep.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so that whole the genre of a publication that can kind of like dial into its audience. I learned all about that from skateboarding and about building a community and about finding your people, which we didn't use that phrase back then, but that was what it was.
Sure.
Finding the other kind of misfits who were cool and wanted to and were okay not hanging around with the football players and the
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
the alternative people. So what is crazy about all that is I went on after I graduated from college.
What'd you get a
I ended
degree
up
in?
I graphic design,
Graphic design. Okay.
Bachelor of Fine Arts, and within a year of graduating, I had designed a catalog for a peony nursery in Champaign, and the catalog landed on the desk of the art director of Martha Stewart Living, and she tracked me down in Champaign and flew me to New York to become her assistant.
Oh, no
So
way.
I
Heck
then ended up working for Martha
yes.
Stewart pretty
In New
soon
York.
after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
In New York? Okay.
Okay
Yeah.
then.
Oh,
In New
cool.
York. Yeah.
How many years were you there for?
I was there for 6 months because I didn't like living in New York.
Oh, no.
So
Really?
I left. I went back to
Yeah.
Champaign because I'm like, I don't think that the East Coast people understand that there's this like whole other country that's like beyond, where you don't have to struggle to go to the grocery store and get your groceries up to the
Sure.
fourth floor walk up. But I ended up freelancing. I made such a great group of friends that I'm still friends with now, and I freelance for Martha and various
Oh, cool.
Oh,
projects
wow.
after
Good
Relationships
that.
from
stuff.
back then still going.
That
All worked
totally,
out. Yeah.
totally.
Wow.
We were a tight crew. But again, like I look at, and then from that I ended up a few years later I freelanced for a while as an artist and garden illustrator, and then I and graphic designer. And then one day I came home to my apartment in Champaign, and Mary Englebright had left a message on my answering machine because she was starting a magazine and she was looking for an art director, and had heard that Marcy Spanogle from Kirkwood had
Yeah.
worked for Martha Stewart and was like now back in the Midwest or whatever. So I then ended up becoming her art director for her magazine. We launched the publication. I was the first art director, and I was 25.
And that was here in town in
And
That's
St. Louis,
amazing.
that
right?
was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we grew that
Yeah.
magazine to 600,000
No way.
subscribers. And
Dude, I
it
did not
was,
Gosh.
realize Mary Englebright was
yeah,
based out of St. Louis. Matt, did you know that? I didn't realize
No,
that. I did.
no.
I
yeah,
started looking around and I was like, oh, wow. Like, where's
I
it?
know.
Where was it or where is it based out of?
Well, she lived in Webster,
Okay.
and then Ladue and Clayton, and yeah, our offices for the magazine were on Delmar in the Tivoli building up on the top floor
Where
where
the
the RFT,
RFT? No way.
yeah,
No
yeah, with
way.
RT, and where right above where Altered Skates used to be.
Huh.
Mhm.
So
I
Yeah.
worked there for many years when the RFT was up there.
you
Late
did?
90s. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I
During my
wonder.
college years. Yep. Yep. Worked for
Oh, you mean the
Glenn.
skate
Yeah,
shop?
that was.
Yeah,
Skate
yeah,
shop.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought
But
you
I,
Oh,
meant
it's skate shop.
RFT. Yeah.
no, not the RFT. I know where the doorway is that led to the RFT next,
Yeah,
right by the
Yeah,
Tivoli and
yeah.
such. But yeah,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
crazy. Huh.
So anyway, that is an aside that most skateboard people tuning in for the Rusty Bearings podcast will
No,
not care
no,
about, but
you're
it
absolutely
just shows
correct.
like skateboarding
Yeah.
infiltrates it infiltrate. I mean, I've know people now who we say, thanks skateboarding. There
Yeah.
again, thanks skateboarding, like so many things in our lives. Well, I can thank my marriage and to skateboarding.
So that's what I want to
So
talk about.
Yeah.
That's as I
that's a
mentioned,
fun story.
we are romantics at the Rusty Bearings podcast. We're still
I
riding
love
the
that.
high of Valentine's Day over here. Uh,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
you
We love
met
love.
your
We love love.
husband at a skate park.
When I was 38 years old.
Yeah. How did all that
But
go
I
That's
down?
first met him. Okay,
What?
so I first met him in when I was 16 years old and he was 19. And we found the page in my journal. Hold on, I gotta get it.
Oh,
It's
no
my
way.
skate. It says skate on there. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh
Does it
Okay.
say SK8?
gosh.
No, this one I
Okay.
did actually spell it out. I'm not That's rare. Okay, let's see. I should have put a bookmark in here because this is pretty funny. And I didn't find this until we'd been back together. I mean, we've been together for a while. Oh my God, there's another funny little. Wait, I got to show you this real quick. Here's a
What do we
picture
got
of
there?
everybody who we skated with
The
on a
crew
certain
from
day. But look at all the
yesterday.
haircuts.
This is so great.
Yeah, that is
You
good.
That
got
was the
this
Peas
the
crew from yesterday.
you got,
Yeah.
you got the
Um,
skater cut in the middle, or the
totally.
Tony
Yeah. Always the long
Tony Hawk
bangs.
cut.
That
McSqueeb.
was everybody had
Mixed
that.
squeeze, man.
That's how you knew, like, if somebody was, legit. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, here we go. All right, this is the page. This is from September 25th, 1987. Oh, hey, I have a new heartthrob to keep my mind off Steve, which was, I guess, a guy I liked
Steve
at
burned
Kirkland.
you. We don't like Steve.
Yeah, Steve, later for you. His name is Doug, and he lives in Hazelwood. He's 19, but he looks 15, and I'm in love. I really am. I've seen him
This
twice
is so
before.
good.
Once I saw, once I saw him at the Bill D demo, the Bill Danforth demo with Joe Lopes
Yes.
and Fish. I actually thought he was Jeff, which was another guy that I thought was cute. He does actually look like Jeff a lot, except he's cuter. He's tan and he has straight hair and no zits.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Has a proper
He's got
complexion.
a
He's good.
Yeah,
that's
and then here's the best. Okay, wait. I saw him at Animal House too, which was a
The
dance club
movie?
that we all went to in North.
Oh,
No, Animal House was a dance club on Route 367. Was that
no
wow.
Wyoming?
way.
Yeah, yeah,
You
Club
guys, it was
367. I remember that spot.
I know where
okay.
you're
Well,
talking
maybe it
about. Yeah.
became that or something because it was where everybody went on Friday nights. They had they played like Depeche Mode and New Order and all that kind of,
Oh, sick.
Red
Yeah,
Hot
yeah.
Chili Peppers and stuff like that. And we went up, we drove all the way up there. Ooh, took forever. Okay.
Hmm.
So Doug went to our ramp yesterday. He's as good a skater as me. I was stoked on him. All right, so
Nice.
this was
He's
1987. I did not ever date him. Um, oh
Was
yeah,
that a
wait. Tomorrow,
disqualifier if the
Bethany.
guy couldn't skate as good as you?
Yeah, yeah. So such a turnoff. Are you kidding me? No
That's
way.
amazing.
Can't be
That's
better than the
amazing.
guy. It's
That's
terrible.
amazing.
Um,
That's great.
Tomorrow, Bethany, Steph, Chris Belkoffer, and Doug and I might drive to Jefferson City for a huge skate demo. I want to go so bad, but I don't even know who's going to be there. Okay, so that was 87, and then we never dated, but I thought he was super cute. But I also had crushes on many, many, like as we would laugh because you turn
Sure.
the page and then I have some other
It's the
person I
next
like. But
guy or whatever.
yeah, because Doug didn't give me time of day. Then I went to college, eventually got married when I was 30 to Patrick Hawley, and then we had two kids, and then we got divorced.
Mhm.
And when I was 38, I like Facebook was new. This was 2000. Well, it was newish. I guess we got on, I think I probably signed up to Facebook in 2008, and I got divorced in 2010. So I was 2 weeks out of my divorce, and we'd been separated for a while. So, I was starting to
Yeah.
kind of
What am I gonna
get
do?
back into to
Yeah.
my life. What am I going to do? And I had friended up with a bunch of people from the old days on Facebook. So like Dave Cummings was on there, and you know, I don't know, just a bunch of like old people from the old days. I can't even really
Reconnecting with a
remember. I
bunch
should
of
have
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
reconnecting, and we all had little kids. So I had a six
Hmm.
year old and a 3 year old at the time. And people were kind of like, oh, well, that was about the age where, 6, 7, you could get your kid a skateboard. And so, of course, I'm like, well, I will have to teach them. You can't just like you hope that it happens by osmosis. You got to like make it
Yeah.
happen. But instead of us teaching the kids, instead we would go to Old Man Skate Night, which was a new happening. The Old Man Skate Cartel in St. Louis
Oh, nice.
was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing. Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
they had their
Yeah.
own sweatshirts with like a skull, and they had like a skateboard, skull and crossbones, but one thing was like a crutch, and the other
Yeah.
one's like a cane. And so these guys, if you were over 30, you were considered old man.
Oh, wow.
So you could get in for a cheaper price at like Plan 9 had an old man night on like Tuesday nights or
Wait,
something.
where was Plan 9
And
skate park? Was
so a
that
bunch of the old people went.
Plan 9
That
skate
was
park?
the
That was at the
Hazelwood. Yeah.
Mills.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
The
Got it. Yep,
Mills.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, at the Mills. So I went out, I went to Infinity, which I had not been in a skate shop in 20 years. I had not skated in like 20 years. And I went and bought a chocolate skinny board, which I was like, what is this? It is so tiny. And I don't even know where my other board is, probably my parents' attic because I just found my Nodus in the attic. But I had to buy a new board. So I got a chocolate, and Andy Mueller tried to kind of like advise me what to get, and had these tiny wheels. And I drove up there in my minivan to the skate park, and I was cracking up because I'm like, this is so weird because the old days skating, if you wanted to go somewhere, you went outside and you pushed and you
Yeah.
got there by pushing. I was like putting my stuff in the car to drive to go skate. It just
Oh,
seemed
yeah.
like such an odd thing, even though I guess we did drive to different ramps and stuff. So, but I remember driving up there and just being like, this is so odd. I'm driving to go to skateboarding at a skate park. I'd never been to a skate park before. Um, so I show up at the Mills and I get my little wrist thing and I go up, and it was filled with
Was there a
people
whole
from the old days.
crew?
There were a
Whole
bunch of
crew
guys
of
from South
people?
County. There were a whole crew of
Oh,
people.
nice. Okay.
I think Jonathan Harms might have been there. Dave Cummings was there, Steve Nelms, Alan Ebert, who I had dated back in the old days, from North County. Like we were friends with a lot of North County guys. And so going up to the Mills, it's closer to
Yeah.
Hazelwood and all that stuff. And Bell Fountain Neighbors was where Al was from. So, and Doug was actually from Riverview Gardens. I didn't know because to me it was just kind of like North County. I just called it all Hazelwood. I had no idea what it even was. Um, but so I go to the ramp and I hadn't dropped in 20 years, and I get up to the lip and I'm like, all right, I guess we're doing this. And I dropped in and I did not
Nice.
fall. And I made it to the other side and I was able to, within a few times, like do frontside grind. Within a few more times, I was able to
Heck
rock and roll
yeah.
still and, just do little simple stuff because I do simple stuff. I was always never an air. If I ever did airs back in the day, it was always below coping.
Yeah.
Because
Shit,
like I
yeah.
said, I was not willing to put myself out there to try
You're
bigger
still
tricks.
skating vert though.
Yeah.
Like even if
But
you're,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
under coping on vert, you can still get really hurt.
you
So
can, yes, you
you,
can. It
you,
was
you're
really
not.
high, and if it has
I
a lot of vert,
was just
it feels
stoked to
really
hear.
powerful when you land on the flat bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So anyway,
you're
so
of
we're
that
at the
era
thing,
of
and then
skating everything. It's really cool. Yeah,
yes, totally. Um,
yeah.
so we're at Plan 9. I'm a 38-year-old mother of two. I'm the only girl there. Um,
Back to being the only girl.
and back to being the only girl. And then I saw Doug across the ramp. I was like, oh my God, that is Doug Schranz. And I got a little flustered. Something inner teenage 16-year-old me who wrote in
Page
my journal, which
31 of
I
the
don't even
diary
remember.
came
Right.
back.
Sparks are
Yeah,
flying.
exactly. It started happening. So he, I guess, also saw me because I just realized every time he would finish his runs, he would end up on my side of the platform. And he starts chatting me up and, talking about what's going on and, what are you up to? Like, we didn't really know each other very well back then. But we realized we were both divorced and we both had kids who were 3 and 6.
Oh
He
wow.
also had a three
Oh,
and six
cool.
year old.
Huh.
Yeah. And we just started talking. And then after, I also realized I could still Ollie. So that was a very
Nice.
good feeling. Like, yes. I mean, age 20, I started thinking I was probably in better shape at age 38 than I was as a teenager because went to Zumba like a multiple times a week, which is like a little
I'm
dance
kind of in that
exercise class.
same thing right now. Like I think I'm probably in better shape than I was when I was
Yeah,
30, just
right.
consciously doing better things to the body.
Yeah,
I
paying
know
attention,
from,
eating healthy
Yes.
and right.
Yes. Yes.
Totally.
as a matter of fact, when I worked at a bar, I was in the worst shape of my life. Go figure.
Yeah. Wonder how that worked.
Yeah.
So anyway, we that night, we all went out afterwards and got drinks and it was just so fun to see everybody. It had been a really long time and had a really great time. But on the way home, I was like, I'm sending I might have even pulled over. I don't know. Because, you know, do we
We
not have no, we didn't have Facebook
we
on our
call
phones
that
yet, I don't
we
think.
call that sliding into DMs. I know where you're going.
Yeah, I slid into the DMs. And remember when you would send a friend request, you had to put a little note with it.
Yes.
So I was like, "Hey, I used to think you were super cute back at the Animal House, the dance club." And Doug back in the day, he rode a Vespa scooter and he was like dressed like a mod and he skated back then, but he raced BMX, but I didn't have any knowing. He also raced motorcycles. I didn't know any of that. I just knew him as a skater that I would see at ramps and stuff, and I'd get real excited if he came down to Adam Gegg's ramp and stuff like that. But anyway, so I slid into his DMs and we talked for several hours, and then um, flash forward, we have been together for 15 years, and we have
Wow.
been
That's
married for
cool.
7,
Nice.
and we met, and so like we met on that skate. Like if I hadn't gone to old man skate night, what are the chances I would ever, ever,
I
ever, ever
know.
have
That's so
met Doug?
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Incredible,
So
man.
it's a good love
Yeah.
story. We raised our kids together, and now we have two 22-year-olds and two 19-year-olds.
Wow. Dude, you guys
Crazy.
got your
It's
hands
crazy.
full.
I
Yeah.
know. Well,
Yeah.
now everybody's away, so I'm redoing my kitchen.
Yeah, now's the time for
Yeah.
that.
Just
It is.
you got 4 kids in college, it sounds like. My God, sounds
Well, we have
scary.
two who are working. So one works at
Okay.
a coffee shop and she
Nice.
loves it. She's amazing. And the other one is a nail tech and does really artistic
Oh, hell yeah.
nail design. So, and
Nice.
then
Awesome.
my daughter's at school in New York. She loves New York. And,
Did you go
yeah,
visit?
mom, no. Yeah. And
Yeah.
now, I realized too, like it was totally different being in New York when I made good money. Like when I
Yeah.
started freelancing or working, when I got a job and made way better money, it was a whole
Yeah.
different experience
Struggling
than,
just to feed yourself in a giant city rather than have like a
yeah,
support network. Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. Um, but yeah. But so what I also have loved though about Facebook, for all that is lame about it and terrible about it, there's is being able to connect with all the people
Yeah.
from the old days and
Yep.
Mhm.
share the photos. And there's like all these different groups. Even like right when it started, I remember I uploaded a ton. I took a lot of pictures back then, so I have a lot of pictures from demos and of pros and
Mhm.
AMs, and I started sharing those, in like the old man skate night Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
And it
Yeah,
was, just really fun to get in touch
Yeah.
with everybody again.
for sure.
Yeah. There's an upside to social media. Seeing my friends' kids and stuff is awesome. Like watching them grow up and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. You feel like
There,
you're kind of in on it.
yeah, there is
Mm.
obviously a abusive, toxic aspect to social media if you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
careful. But there's great stuff, especially for reconnecting with people and sharing things.
I
Mhm.
know. I know.
Yeah.
Well, how would we wouldn't have be right here right now?
Exactly. Exactly.
Probably. Um, but I do. Okay, wait. I have to share a couple other kind
Yeah.
of
What
funny
else you got?
stories. Okay. So one of my other funny stories is so we back in the day, my friend Bethany would, well, she lived in a really cool house in Kirkwood in the Sugar Creek neighborhood, which is a lot of like really modern houses. And, I said her dad was a graphic designer and he had designed their house.
Hmm.
She would have everybody over. She was always hosting parties and things. And so like if a band would play in town, she would invite them back to her house afterwards and stuff. So we would she's had everyone at her house, but she had something called the barbaric BQ, which was like barbecue, but barbaric BQ. And we had a bunch of the Splash guys. Like, have you known of Warren Stevens and Steve
Yeah.
Clawwitter?
I
I
know the
know
And
I know Warren Stevens. I never knew him, but he
yeah, I
was
know
like
the
a
name.
superstar to me,
yeah, they would be a good
Um,
people to talk to for the history of St. Louis skateboarding, which I
mhm.
have not taken a moment to say thank you for creating this
Oh, thank
oral
you.
Oh,
history.
yeah.
It is
Thanks for
Yeah.
really
participating.
meaningful. Wow.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
think you're doing a really good service. And as I'm even talking about it and kind of remembering all the different little factions of skate
Hmm.
crews that there were, and there's not enough
Yeah.
hours in the day to interview everybody, but like that West County crew, they got really good. And like Warren got sponsored and Steve Clawwitter might have gotten
Yeah.
sponsored.
Yeah.
Um, they had a couple guys who were really good. And then of course the South County and Jim Coleman, who's like,
Yep.
sports
Hmm.
announcer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
Chris Casey, obviously, which
Yep.
we miss
Yeah.
very much. Chris,
Hmm.
we miss you. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like the way
He
everything
was
kind of
such a treasure
overlaps.
trove of knowledge. That's yeah. He knew a
Yeah,
lot of the how a lot of the pieces
how
connected.
everybody, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Um,
unless we talk
because
about, so I mean,
he would
there you
talk
go.
about a lot of the names you mentioned that I didn't know through the years, but Chris
Yeah.
would talk about pasta. I
Yeah.
knew
Mhm.
Dave pretty well, and then God, who was the other big name that you dropped? Out of like your that crew, but Todd and I are skating with Dave because Dave starts skating
Da-
Glenn's mini ramp a
Dave
Yeah.
Cummings.
bunch.
Are you
Oh,
speaking of
Dave
yeah, at the
Cummings?
shop.
Cummings,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Hmm.
yes. And so I knew him prior to that, but we were hanging out with him quite a bit around
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these late 90 years when Glenn
Yeah.
had a
We were
mini ramp.
spending a lot of time
Hmm.
But
going out is what we were
who else
doing.
was right? But who else was with Dave that was
Kevin
that
Rager was around with
Ra
Dave at that point.
Rager?
Okay.
And then
Um,
God, but another
I don't
person
even
that
know.
was like, oh, I actually know Dave pretty well, and then another person in that list, but a lot
Well,
that
I
I
didn't know
don't,
that
you know.
when Chris Casey moved out to LA, he lived with Stephanie King for a while.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yes,
told me
in
that.
the
Yeah.
lofts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's crazy. And I guess Steph was dating Dan Druff at the time
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
before then or something. But man, Steph and I, dude, we had some adventures. And so, okay, here's the story. Um, so when I was a senior, a whole bunch of people from Kirkwood and a bunch of people from South County, like Dave and some of the Hazelwood people. Bo Fryer. Did you guys
Yeah,
know
for
Bo
sure.
Fryer?
Yeah, you did.
So
Matt from Blueberry. Yeah, you did.
yeah,
Bo.
yeah,
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
passed
Bo.
away.
yeah.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace
he
to him
passed away
too.
also.
Didn't have any
I know, it's
Christmas.
so sad.
Yeah,
And Bo was like one of our core
I did know
buddies,
Bo.
and Chris Belkoffer also, and they were both Hazelwood guys. Um, and Stephanie was dating Bo at the time, and so like or she had dated him, and then we were all friends. But those guys, a whole big group of us, probably like 8 people, went down to the Savannah Slamma.
Oh, no way. You
In
guys went
No
to
Yeah,
that.
way.
we went to that.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Uh, a bunch of people drove, and Bo and I flew, and that of course then I mean we already knew everyone from skate camp, so it's like a reunion, like you're getting together with everybody. So Stephanie was still seeing Steve Caballero, and I think she had visited him in California a few times, or I don't know. I mean, basically, when I say dating him, it was like you'd see him whenever you could, because
Sure.
Yeah,
when could
yeah,
you?
right.
Um, and so we get down there. She reacquaints with Steve, with Cab, and after the first day, it was like I think it was a 2-day thing, so they must have had the preliminary contest um thing, and then the real contest was going to be the next day. So after the preliminary thing, we all went to this party, and we're talking to Steve, and he's like, "Oh, Marcy, there's this guy that I think you would really get along with because you're really funny and he's really funny. I think you guys would like really get to know each other. Like that would be great." Right. So he introduces us, and we totally hit it off. And it was Jason Lee. And so
Dude.
we so we start dating,
Wow.
and I we had an unforgettable experience. And then beyond that,
Yeah,
like
Yeah, yeah.
a big thing for me with skateboarding was writing letters back and forth. And
sure.
so,
Pen
we
pal.
wrote letters, total pen pal. Like that was a big, actually, I should have brought that up earlier, like with skate camp and various pros, like we just would write letters. So I would write in my little journal, like, oh, got a letter from, Scott Oster today or whatever, like
Mhm.
just,
I still have some of the letters we used to write, like when
yeah,
my
Yeah.
friends first moved to California, and like send postcards and
totally
letters just to
postcards.
stay in touch
And
that way. Right?
to
Yeah.
decorate the envelopes and
Oh
put the
yeah.
little
Oh yeah.
logos that
Oh
we
yeah.
spent all those
Oh yeah.
hours learning how to draw.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it. So but so one of the times then Jason lived in Huntington Beach and I lived in St. Louis. So we talked on the phone, we made like mixtapes for each other and stuff. And then, excuse me, he was going to be doing a demo in Tulsa, and
Oh,
my
wow.
grandma lived in Tulsa. So he was on tour with Mike Vallely.
Oh, wow.
And I drove down there, and my mom was like so worried because I was, 17. I guess I had just turned 18. But this was the summer after I graduated from high school. And I drove to Tulsa, and Jason was like, "I want you to go on tour with me." And so that was,
Me, you, and Mike. It'll be great.
yeah, no, no. And the other person who was there was Jason's ex-girlfriend, who Mike
That Mike
Vallely
just
ended up
started
marrying.
dating.
And
Yeah.
Vallely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Awkward.
that
Awkward.
was Jason's first girlfriend, but she was super nice. And she's like, "Oh, I just want him to be happy." And she and I were both like little, like I'm only 5 feet tall and she was tiny. So we hit it off, and the four of us like hung out for a few days. And then my mom was like, "You are not going on tour with him. I will never know where you are." And she was always a worried, make sure you lock your doors when you're driving the car, all that kind of stuff. So I did not get to go. And my mom would, of course, like I stayed in touch with Jason through when I went away to college and stuff, but we had kind of we became friends more like. And I remember there was a demo in St. Louis where
Right.
Jason
Did
Lee
that
and
tour go
Gons,
through?
yeah, they came through St. Louis.
But
Yeah.
the different than when you go to see him in Tulsa.
Yeah.
So they must have come
Because
they must have come back up here,
well,
or did
yeah, I've
they?
always been wondering
Because it
about.
was at
I know
Slash.
Jason Lee came twice at two separate
Okay.
demos, once with Gons
One's with
and once,
Gons
and then I
with
can't ever
Vallely.
keep straight who was with the other time he was here.
No, the
So
Tulsa stuff was the Mike V demo. Like he scheduled his own thing and brought his crew.
Oh,
Like that's where
okay,
Ed
okay.
Templeton jumps in
okay,
at some point and all
Yeah.
that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So
yeah.
He took
you're
So,
he took a
you're
shower
talking
at my house.
What you're talking about, Matt, is
So
like a blind demo. Like that was like straight up.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry to
Okay.
interrupt, because
No,
please,
that's
I
okay.
want to know
It's hard
all
to.
info you know about those
Oh
demos,
my gosh, that's
because
so funny.
I'm trying to piece
So,
together I know there were two, but
so
two,
yeah,
two
then he came back
different
with
years.
Gons,
Yeah, they're
and
two separate summers, and he's with Gons for sure in one of them.
yeah,
All right,
and he had
sorry.
blue hair,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Gons
or
had.
no, blue hair. He
Wait,
had blue. Oh,
they
that's right.
both had dyed hair, right?
I think Jason them had black hair, and
But
Gons had
Gons
blue.
hair had, right?
Oh
Oh
my
my
God!
God.
And so
Okay.
we
No,
took them to
that's
dinner,
what
and
I
I'm sure
remember too. Yeah. Sorry. Go
we
ahead.
ended up. They were staying in a hotel room together in Kirkwood at this place that had now been like bulldozed because it was like this totally cheap, gross motel. And Steph and I went back to the room and we just hung out. And it was one of the fun, I mean, just like four friends hanging out and laughing. And dude, Gons is a nut,
Yeah.
but
He's unique.
he is very unique. And Jason is hilarious. So that was a very funny, wonderful night.
I
But the thing is,
bet.
my mom would always be like poo-pooing me trying to stay in touch with Jason because she's like, Marcy, he didn't even graduate from high school. And, because he had dropped out to go pro and blah, 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 blah,
Uh,
blah. And
That's
then,
funny.
go our separate ways, whatever. Years later, I'm sitting there in Champaign and I'm looking through the Parade magazine. You remember that parade that
Yeah,
used to come
sure.
I do.
in
Yeah.
the newspaper on Sunday? And the little gossip column thing that was on the first page was a picture of Jason Lee and Shannon Doherty because it
Oh,
was talking
Mallrats.
about mall rats. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What?
Mhm.
In the movies now?" And so, like,
Yeah.
of course, then he becomes more of a household name. My mom still had no idea about any of that. And then my favorite part of all this, though, is that she then comes to me one day years later and is like, well, Mars, I was at um Bridge Club with the other couples, and do you know who they were talking about who is so funny? Is that show My Name is Earl. And they said that Jason Lee is on there. And I said, Mars, to date him. And so she finally came full circle and
Yeah.
was not
She accepted Jason in her life.
he
Is that
Jason,
accepted it
Jason the
now that he
one.
was like a household name when My Name is
He's
Earl. Isn't
welcome to the
that funny?
Bridge Club. He can come play bridge
I
anytime.
know. I
Oh
think that is
my
so funny.
gosh.
Yeah, because
That's a
before it was kind of
that's
like,
amazing.
don't do it. You need
Yeah.
to go to with someone who's in college or whatever.
Dude, it's
But
Yeah.
amazing the timing that you were that age, those places with those people. Like,
can you
kind of,
believe that?
yeah, it's kind of like,
Oh,
again, skate camp thing kind of happens. That's crazy. And then, like, yeah, there's
hmm
just a lot of stuff going on at one time. It seems
I was
two
there in
years.
the heyday of the
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when pros started becoming
yeah,
household name when Tony Hawk was
Hmm.
16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
And we would always get our, Bethany and I always had our cameras in the early years, not as much later, which, because I was skating more. So when we first was getting into
Hmm.
it, I was learning about it and I was very much into, whatever cute guys were there. But if you called me a Betty, I will beat you. Like, do not call me a skate Betty. I was not a skate Betty. I was a skater.
Yeah.
And I definitely went more into the skating and less of the other stuff later. Um, but because we had our cameras, we were always taking our pictures with the guys. So, can we get our picture taken together? There was no selfie, but the other one would have to take a picture. Then we would switch and take that. So one time my mom
Hmm.
got the negatives and surprised me with a 30 by 40-inch poster of Christian Hosoi that I had taken of him. Like he was holding a beach ball and it was at the first VP fair. And the light was like, it was like the golden hour. And it was
yeah.
this gorgeous photograph. And she blew it up huge. And I, I brought it the next time he was at a demo. I think he was um, at Six Flags. There was a big demo at Six Flags with Christian Hosoi, Tony Magnuson, and who else was there? Steve Stedham.
Really?
And
Wow.
yes,
Did not know
that was
about
in
Cool.
that
like
one.
87, 88, something like that. I don't know. But I had Christian sign the picture and he wrote, "Yo, babe, thanks," like THX, and then Hosoi. So my mom got it framed and it was over my bed. And then I took another picture of him looking at some film. And I mean, dude, he just looked like such a babe. And he's like looking at it. And he had like his torn
Yeah.
off t-shirt around his collar and everything. And then I got him to sign that one another time. And that was what hung over my bed as a teenager were two framed
That's
pictures of
funny.
Christian and Soy. And then across the wall, I had like a picture of me and Chris Miller and Caballero, which we were like kind of the same height. And then Lance Mountain, I think, or I don't know. I don't. And then Steve Noble, who was from
Oh,
South
nice.
County,
Yeah,
because he was just as
Yeah,
good as the pros. Um,
that's what I
yeah,
hear.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but
Have you
yeah,
scanned a lot of these pictures and shared them? I hope.
I need to do more of
Yeah, for
it. I
sure.
haven't.
This
I
stuff
need
sounds
to.
incredible.
Yeah.
I know I've got
Yeah.
a lot of Chris Sessions and I have talked about it before. Like, he's real good at uploading videos to
I
YouTube and
called
stuff.
him prior to us talking, and he specifically said that she has lots of photos. Like he straight
Yeah.
up said that. Yeah.
I need to take the negatives and get prints made because so many of them I would send to whoever the picture was of. So like I remember I sent a bunch to and I did a painting of one of them and sent the picture to Christian. And the first letter I ever got back from him was just a letter from his dad that said, "Please send negatives. We want to use these."
Oh,
And my mom
wow.
was like, "Don't send it. You're gonna lose your copyright." So I did. But
That's great. Your mom knew.
Christian,
Like,
I know
like
oh
not.
my God. But that dad was like Christian's PR,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Papa
Ivan
I
has
do.
one.
Hosoi.
Yeah. As soon
Yeah.
as you said that, I was
Yeah.
thinking of his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pops. He was the
Yeah.
man. So, and he did, his advertising and stuff. So, um, a funny story then, there was an art show in St. Louis, a couple
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Hosoi and
Paint,
Cav
punk rock and
were
paint
there.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paints and
Is
punk
that?
rock or whatever. Or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it was on Hampton, I think, right up
Yeah.
the street from where I live. Yeah. It was
Oh, really?
awesome.
So did you go? Yeah, you went.
Yeah. Yeah. I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah.
The
So we went.
second night. I think there were two nights. I went to the second
Oh,
night.
okay. We went the first night, so
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously we didn't say hi. Um, but so we went to that, and I showed Christian the day that of it. I found a picture of us at the Six Flags demo. Of course, I always wore to the skate demos. I always wore Jimmy's outfits, and I don't know if you remember, but they had a skirt that was basically like a piece of fabric with some Velcro, and you just and then I mean it could
Yeah.
take it right
Yeah.
back off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the shirts had like a little triangle right over where so it would show where your belly button was. And I had that on. And then Christian, of course, has no shirt on and he's all like buff and he's wearing his Jimmy's pants. And so I showed him, I'm like, I just found this picture today that's from, 30 years ago or whatever. Well, 35 years ago. And he was cracking up. He's like, we have to recreate it. So then my husband stands back because he is such a good sport and he took a picture of me and Christian now. And then
Rad.
Christian joked with Doug that he's like, dude, you're in way better shape than I am. Like, there's no way I'd be taking my shirt off now to be in this picture. Because Doug, like you, is like in, really great shape. He's a cyclist and, he takes care of himself. So, but that was super funny. And then also another funny thing, I went over to Caballero and I introduced myself again after all this time. And I'm like, I don't know if you remember, I was really good friends with Stephanie and we hung out all the time back then. And I mean, it didn't take that man 2 seconds to whip out his phone and show me a picture of he and Steph
No way.
from like 1988.
No
He's like,
way. Wow.
yeah, he still had it like at
Ah,
the ready.
that's
It
funny.
did
Yeah.
not take him. He didn't have to like scroll through. It was like it must have been in his favorites.
Yeah.
So of course I had to send it to Steph. I took a picture
Nice.
of the picture and was like, "You're still in his heart, Steph."
Fucking rad,
Aw.
That's awesome.
So
dude.
anyway.
Hey, something I wanted to ask you about. What's up with Vivopolis?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So my background is, in magazines for a
Right.
long time. And then I ended up having a graphic design company of my own for many years while I was raising children and just, living life. And I think as you could tell from skateboarding, like when I'm into something, I give it my all
Yep.
and maybe not doing the tricks, but I certainly like I get into it. Like I get into stuff. And I feel like I did that with my jobs up till now and my family and like gave my all to my raising the kids and Doug's kids and into Doug and I created this event in St. Louis called Vintage Bike Night where people with vintage
Oh, at the
motorcycles because Doug
brewery.
is
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
I saw that. I saw flyers for that or
Okay, yeah,
something
you're
a
right. At
while ago.
Schlafly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So right, we started in 2011, I think, and we did it for 7 years, and it grew to be the biggest motorcycle meetup in the Midwest, if not the United States. It
Huh.
became really big because he kind of was he knew all about motorcycles. Of course, then he got me to get my motorcycle license, and now I never thought, here I was like afraid I might break my wrist skateboarding, but now I was out riding motorcycles on the street and dirt bikes. But
Oh
he
wow.
always was telling me you're a rad chick and I met you skating, so I know you can do it. And he would always push me past my comfort zone. So anyway, so I've been riding motorcycles. I was giving my all to his projects. I'm giving my all to my clients. And I'm realized around the time of the pandemic that and in the meantime, like right before the pandemic, my mom, who I've mentioned was the ultimate rad chick, the original rad chick, she had passed away from breast cancer
Oh no.
in 2016, which was like, she was my best bud and my biggest encourager. Like that the energy that she put into like let's go find the pros hotel
Sure.
was the energy she put into everything. She was really incredible person. So, devastated from that, but I didn't really even have time to grieve her. And then I found out I had breast cancer the following year
Oh no.
and yeah, and I'm okay.
Good.
I had a very treatable. She had a really hard to treat kind, and I had a different
Aggressive.
kind that it was treatable. It's still stressful and scary. I don't want anyone to have to go through it.
Mhm.
But I feel like even that, like I was so busy that I didn't even really allow myself to like
Yeah.
feel
Yep.
really.
Process.
And
Sure.
yeah, process, like kind of be like, holy shit, this is hard and scary. And of course, I had a good prognosis, but it's still scary. Um, so anyway, like going through all that, and in 2020, and when COVID hit and um, everything was shut down, and all of a sudden, my kids who were involved in all kinds of sports, like their practices stopped, and like everything closed. Remember,
Yep.
like in March, like 5 years ago, this week probably,
Yeah.
stuff started shutting down, and we didn't know
Yeah. Thought it was gonna be a
would we
few
have jobs
weeks.
tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
It
Yeah.
was really scary. Will we have food? Like, am I going to get this? Am I going to die? So during all that time, I ended up all of a sudden having, um, I saw an opening to start slowing down my life, and I started pulling back from my businesses, and I didn't need to, like I could have kept going, but I saw this kind of window to escape and reassess and stuff. And so Vivopolis is something that I am working on launching. It still has not launched yet.
Okay.
But it is the culmination of the things that I learned between realizing that I was totally burnt out as like an overachieving, you know, high over
Yeah.
pleasing, like oftentimes the mom in the family, like, makes I don't know about you guys, but makes the lunches, does the scheduling, like knows where the doctor's appointments are, all those things. And even though I was divorced and only had my kids part-time, it's a big responsibility. And so like all the things of being a parent and being a business owner, and I also had a business called Power Poppy that is my based on my botanical illustrations, and I had thousands of customers all over the world. And so like I felt like everybody just wanted a piece of me,
Sure.
and I didn't have anything for myself. And so I went outside during COVID and I started digging up my front yard, and it had been a tangled, crazy, big giant hill. Like we live kind of up on a hill, and it was a big slope, very steep, of vines. And I started digging it up. And over the course of the next like 3 years, I dug up every inch of it and I planted it with thousands and thousands and thousands of flowers
Oh wow.
and daffodils and tulips and peonies and all these gorgeous plants. And I'm super into plants. I mean, my mom was a big gardener, and I have had a lot of clients who, I work for Martha Stewart. I have had a number of clients who were garden related. And so like I know a lot about gardening, but I hadn't really done it on this scale, but I just threw myself into it and figured it out. And it was like the ultimate kind of like time to work on a project. And while you're doing hard physical labor of, mulch and wheelbarrows and, getting stuff out with a big shovel and all that, processing and giving myself time to heal from my mom's death and my breast cancer and my previous 20 years of, being busy and crazy and
Sure.
running all over the place doing stuff. So I ended up starting to write a memoir. I started a couple different like fits and starts of like, what do I want to do now? Because I don't think like what I learned during the process of making my garden and in the process of just sort of like becoming more present. Oh, also I stopped drinking. Doug and I
Good.
both quit drinking in 2020. And we say we retired after 30 good years on the job. And I'm telling you, like, I mean, we weren't like falling down, but we were drinking wine every night. It
Yeah,
was like
you're
the
you're
Yeah.
default thing,
talking to
you
two
know?
sober dudes, and Matt,
Oh, you guys are
Yeah.
sober?
you haven't been drinking in a while, right,
Yeah.
Matt? You been keeping that
Been
going?
like a year and a half.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's
Yeah.
been.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, don't you find like
Oh
there's so
yeah,
many more hours in the day?
dude, just mornings of
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And
Everything's going
better.
good because of it for sure.
Yeah,
good, good. Yeah. And I just really, I don't think I realized at the time. I mean, we grew up in the culture of everybody drinks. That's just what you
Yeah,
do.
drink till
and
you drop.
just
Totally.
built into the culture of just this
Yeah.
town.
Yeah,
Like,
It is. It is. And
what?
you don't question it. It's just what
Mhm.
you do. You don't
Oh
think
yeah.
about it. And so like it was so habitual just opening. I mean, would do the screw cap, white Sauvignon Blanc or whatever. And at 5 o'clock, like there was
Oh
no
yeah.
question. I just was
yeah.
going to pour a
Uh,
glass of wine. And then of course you can't just have one.
You got to clean the bottle
oh,
out,
So
right? Come
and
on.
yeah, and then yeah, you're halfway through, might as
Yeah,
well just finish it.
yeah.
And so what the fuck? Like
so
if
you
unless
said you started before the pandemic
I
then?
stopped drinking January 1st or December 31st, 2019, actually, but I
Nice.
say
Oh
January
wow.
1st, 2020. So 5 years and a few months. And I don't even feel like I count. I don't really count because after
Mhm.
questioning it for many years and kind of being like, I probably should really not do this. And then trying and not being able to, or going out to dinner and being like, who cares? I'll just have some,
I'll start
like
tomorrow. Yeah,
yeah, I'll start
yeah,
tomorrow. And
yeah.
and then wake up the next day like, why did I do that? I feel like shit. Um, and Doug actually quit 6 months before I did because we were gonna try to quit together. And then I remember after a month, I'm like, I miss drinking. Like, I'm gonna go back to it. You're fine. Like, you're not
Yeah.
drinking, so
You got a
maybe
driver. You
just one
drive.
of
That's
us has to
cool.
quit. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I really just felt like if I don't do something about this is not going to get better on its own. I'm not going to all of a sudden start drinking less naturally. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way.
No, no, no.
It doesn't work
Yeah,
that way. And I
yeah.
joined this group again on Facebook called the 30-day alcohol experiment, and it's put out by This Naked Mind, which was a woman who kind of did the same thing. She was like a corporate marketing person and she didn't even really like to drink at first, but it was what everyone did. It was how you did sales. It was how you entertain your clients, and they're
Mhm.
buying you really great bottles of wine. Why wouldn't you drink it all? So, and she just she ended up drinking 2 bottles of wine, of red wine a night.
Jeez.
Yeah,
And I
that
remember
would
reading
hurt.
that and being like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
am I on course
Yeah.
for that?
Mhm.
God. And it just really until I started getting angry at alcohol, that was the shift that I needed. Like, I am literally allowing a beverage to control my life. Like, what? And then I like was in this group like on Facebook where it was like a private group and 2000 something people were in it, from all over the world. And we would kind of talk about our stories, like things you wouldn't talk about because you're kind of like embarrassed and it's like shameful to like, why can't I stop drinking? Like, why can I not just choose to stop and stop? And so people would talk about it in this group. And I just remember feeling such like camaraderie and like freedom and kind of feeling seen for the first time, because Doug had no problem quitting. He just quit. He was just like, whatever, I could take it or leave it. And I
Yep.
didn't feel that way at all. Um, and also, like I said, I'm passionate about stuff. I'm passionate about drinking,
Yeah, sure.
craft cocktails. I want this cool bottle of wine, like I'm a foodie. I want
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole experience, and I didn't want to give that up. I saw it as a part of the quality of life that I had, and I didn't really think about it any other way. But then the more I started like stepping back and thinking, holy shit, I am in I'm a graphic designer. I am in marketing. And I have just allowed myself to be like reeled right in to marketing, the
Yeah, yeah,
marketing that
yeah.
you have to drink to
Yeah.
have fun. You have to
Yeah.
drink when you go to a restaurant. You have to have a drink with your dinner, like all this stuff. And then I started feeling really like mad at myself.
And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
And I also thought, I have always been myself. I have been independent. I've been myself. I did not care. I was a skater at the high school, and people would say big air to me, what's up, big air dude? And I would be like, whatever, you're so lame. Like I did
Mm.
not care because and I, the skaters were bullied, but like I always had confidence in myself. I've thought of myself as like not doing what the standard expected thing is. And yet here I was drinking just like the marketing people are trying to get us to drink. And so I started thinking, like, man, I think it's rebellious. It's more rebellious to not drink. And once I really got that into my head, I was like, total shift, and I've never gone back. Like I have had no craving. I mean, I've realized more what triggers are, and that I did have triggers, and I did want to essentially like numb out at night and to not think about stuff. And so I can't believe I left that part out about going out to the garden, because I believe that was a big part of it too. I really started learning how to feel stuff and process it and react to it, because if I was mad about something or upset about something, there was no escape. There was no like go inside and pour a glass of wine. There was just sit in it,
Yep, yep.
which doesn't feel great.
Well, it sounds like
But
what you're doing is just more of a healthy way of detaching for a little bit, and
yeah,
I don't want to use the word processing again, but yeah, sitting with it, I suppose,
yeah.
rather than crawl into a bottle, that's kind
Yeah,
of a
you learn how to
quick,
sit
easy
with
way.
discomfort.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And I think I thought of it as like, well, I would say, I'm turning my brain off. Everybody just shh, everyone go
Mhm.
away. I'm having my wine now. And I mean, I knew I was turning my brain off, but I didn't really think about it as I'm also preventing myself from having to have hard conversations or um, deal with a situation where, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to have four teenagers
I could
But
in the
imagine.
house
Yeah,
in a
yes.
yeah.
blended family. And, Doug travels for work, and he was racing motorcycles all the time when he was home from work. And there was a lot on me and running two businesses. And I felt extremely overwhelmed, and I felt responsible for everybody. So, yeah, man, that garden saved my life, I think.
This
And
is
stopping
this
drinking
is the
saved my
slope
life.
of possibility, yes?
This is the slope of
Okay.
possibility. It
I love
is.
it.
So that is what I ended up standing down at the bottom of and I traveled like to gardens all over the place, and went to England with a friend of mine, and met people on Instagram who I'd met on Instagram who are some of the best gardeners in England. And we became friends through Instagram, and I was able to visit their gardens. And I came back here, and I was just full of ideas. And I was really realizing, like, dude, I got this. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm creating, like, this was my new canvas. This
Mhm.
was something for me. I am an artist. Like, I can paint, but I always look at it as that's kind of my job, is to draw. Like, I drew for a living, but creating a garden was sort of an artistic thing I could do for myself. And then it turned out I was doing it for all my neighbors, because COVID shut down everything, and the
Mm.
botanical garden was closed, and every place you wanted to go was closed. So people were walking up and down the streets. Do you remember when people had to walk in the street with like a mask on?
Yeah, yeah. You see
Because
somebody across the street, like
yeah,
stay away.
you'd be like,
Yeah,
yeah, don't you have you been
yeah.
tested? But there weren't even tests, so we didn't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was changing. The garden was helping me, and it was helping other people, and spreading beauty. And like a really, really
That's
amazing
awesome.
thing. So I have created, thank you. So I then decided to name it the Slope of Possibility because it had totally showed me that like you put your mind to it and you can make something incredible happen.
Yeah.
You just have to try. And so I, in the course of all of that, have realized like I learned a lot in the last several years about how to set, I didn't even know the word boundaries before, but like set boundaries for myself and do what I need to do to feel better. And so I've really created a process and like a matrix of steps for, I mean, it's directed toward women primarily, Vivopolis. It's going to be an online community for women to come and a paid like community, like when we were talking about
Yep.
Thrasher and Trans World or, the decorating people and the crafters and the whoever.
Mhm.
Um, this is my community of women who want to try to like reset their lives. Like I'm in my early 50s. So like people, when you get to be your late 40s, early 50s, your kids are starting to leave the house and all of a sudden you do have more time. And so what do you want to do with it? And I am very into living in the now, like your life is now
Yeah.
and this is it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and my mom's death clarified it for me. Like you do not get guaranteed to live to be 90. She was
Yeah. I
71.
Mhm.
think, Matt, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we both had someone close to us that has passed away that caused,
Yeah.
has pushed me to start
Yeah.
evaluating now.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of things,
Isn't it?
like I've been very good about
Mhm.
thinking about tomorrow, and I'm starting to really question, like, dude,
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
now.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
weird? Like
Yeah.
it does, we feel like we think we're supposed to be live into our 80s, and that just isn't a given by any
Yeah.
stretch. I mean, to have
Yeah.
Chris and Bo both
Yeah.
pass
That
away.
was
I
very
mean,
close. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Chris, in seemingly amazing health and out there doing his thing. So
Yeah.
I want people to, I have assessed my what I do, and I can't ever go back to, if unless I have to, working, doing corporate
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
design,
I came from a background and I work in sales, and I came from a background of grinding. I look back on years of travel, like over a hundred
Yeah.
thousand miles on a plane. Like
Oh my
there's
gosh.
no way in hell I could go back to doing that now, nor do I want
Yeah.
to, for that matter.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's too important to just, I don't know, just be present and
Yep.
reevaluate what you need too. And I mean, I think especially for women, I'm sure your audience is mostly guys. And so I would say
Mhm.
to them, um, who's the lady in your life, or look at
Yep.
your mom and what can you do to take some load off of her, or, be there with her, find out what she needs. And
Yeah.
I think often women don't stand up for ourselves in that way. And because we do feel like we want to do it, it's not like everything's a big sacrifice, but
You got to
I feel
set
like I,
boundaries. You got to say
yeah,
no. You
yeah,
have to say
you got to
no.
say no.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I watch my husband was going off and racing his motorcycle every weekend, and I was kind of like, I guess I'll stay here with the kids. I mean, and of course, I love him, and we are married and
Yes.
all that stuff. But like, even he, like, we are figuring out now, what's a good number of
Yep.
he's real into cycling. Like, what's a good number of races so that we can actually still maintain this, because
For sure.
it's
And yeah.
it's now
I mean,
that
I
all we
I love
get.
to skateboard still. It's the same discussion in my home. Like
Yeah,
I can't skate every day. Not that my body would let me, but yeah, it's a big
yeah,
discussion in our house. Like what I still have to be me and have my time and my
hmm,
passion,
yeah.
but I still have two kids and a wife. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's
So
hard, but I've learned this whole new concept of living with intention,
mhm,
Mm.
where you don't, like, most of my life, I mean, have been really fortunate um to get some incredible opportunities that, I went to work for Martha Stewart at 25.
Yeah.
I have had
This has
things
blown me
happen.
away. I'm just saying. I had no
Isn't that
expectations
crazy?
about what was about to be discussed, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
Yeah.
hold on.
totally blown me away.
I got a question. What do you mean by living with intention? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of just allowing the next thing to happen, doing the next, you get a promotion at work, so you go to the next thing, and then you
Sure.
get the next thing, and then you work till you're 65, and then you retire. You really stop and think about prioritizing.
Okay.
How do I want my life to feel?
Not
How
be,
do I
but
want my
feel.
days to feel?
Feel. Okay.
Like who when we're coming up, it's like, what do you want to do when you grow up, you know?
Yeah, I'll be a
Yeah.
firefighter. It'll be great.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, but do you want your life to feel stressful and worried
Yeah,
and,
charge into
death
something on
defying?
fire. Yeah,
Right, right. Or do you just like how it looks when you're in a red truck? I mean,
right.
so there's so many things that we just,
Mm.
especially as young adults, you get into a groove, you get a job, and it takes you on this path. And then there you are 30 years later, and you've never stopped to think, especially at our age, um, well, what else do I want to do? I've always thought I
Yeah.
was a graphic designer and an artist, and I am, but I also am a lot of other things. And I think I'm
And
a communicator, and I think I'm a community builder. And I seem to, just like through Facebook and Instagram and through my businesses, I have found that a lot of the stuff that I share with people can kind of resonates with them, and they can see things in a new way. And I've really realized, like, I don't think I can go back to graphic design, because not that I wouldn't enjoy it necessarily, because I do enjoy design very much, but I kind of feel like I have other gifts that need to be explored.
Yeah, that
And
sounds like sitting at a table by yourself type of a position rather than gathering a
yeah,
community. I don't want to say leading a community, but yeah, just being involved with
yeah.
a bigger community, I guess.
Right. And this Vivopolis, like, it will be a paid subscription thing where we have like a private website, but there'll be in-person meetings. But I mean, I even though I'm real loud and talkative and chatty and throwing my hands up everywhere, I've realized I'm introverted. And what that means is, after this Zoom call that we're doing and podcast, I will probably sleep for like 14 hours,
Yeah. I got the same
you
thing.
know?
I have to
yeah.
recharge after
Yeah.
doing stuff
Yeah.
like this, and that's the
Yeah.
balance, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're having to use all these other senses that
Yep.
you're not used to using. So I really want to help other people. And Doug, my husband, is always saying, like, it shouldn't just be for women. Dudes need to hear this stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And they do, but
Yeah.
like, living with intention means you might have to prioritize things differently, because if you want a certain outcome to happen, you have to put into place, like for Doug, we went to Colorado last summer. He had to work in Colorado, and I came with him for part of the trip, and we rode our bikes all over the place. We went on these giant, wonderful, beautiful scenic rides. Doug rode a lot more than I did. And near the end of it, Doug was like, I've lived in St. Louis all my life. I never thought I would end up living in St. Louis forever. I thought I'd live in California. I thought I'd be in LA. I thought I'd, wherever. Never saw myself living here. But he said, I think I could see myself living in Colorado. And I don't really want to move to Colorado necessarily, but I was prompted to say to him, well, then you would need to put the steps in place
Yeah.
to make it so you can move to Colorado, So find out if your company could transfer you there. Find out, like, we have to start looking at real estate, whatever. But like, Doug and I very much have kind of just gone with the flow. And when your kids are little, you can't just
Yeah.
move to Colorado. So we're at a different, stage. But or maybe you
Mhm.
can, but you just have to make
A
the
lot more
choice. And
planning to
so,
give. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Having a healthier lifestyle, and having just like deciding or realizing I don't feel that good anymore when
Yeah.
I eat whatever. If I go to McDonald's, like, from choosing the food you put in your body and all that stuff. I don't know. It's
Sure.
all
Nice.
intertwined.
When are you launching?
Oh yeah.
When is that launching? Or sounds like it's soon.
It should be, yeah, it should have been already. I plan to have it out, and I'm actually it should be within a few months, I hope. But it'll be a soft launch
Okay.
first, and then we will expand it. But I'm also working on two books that will be companions to it, like a life handbook that is based around Vivopolis and the slope of possibility. Because what I realized is this, the slope of possibility is a garden, but it's not really about the garden. It was about
The
the
process.
process,
Yeah, sure.
independent of what the outcome is. I
Yeah.
mean, even if all the flowers died, the process of doing that was what was important. And so I want to help people figure out what their slope of possibility is, essentially, like not a garden, but what kind of big project or plans or
Yeah.
transformation, do you want to go through
Hmm.
to help you get to another, to help you figure out how you want your
Yeah.
life to feel. Because maybe you have no idea how you want your life to feel because you've never thought about that before. You just
Right. Yeah.
feel
That's
bad or good or whatever, tired
That's the
or
biggest challenge is just stopping to think about that. And that's why people
Mhm.
probably continue onward so they don't have to stop and make
Yeah,
some big decisions or big evaluations, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, like relationship decisions and work
yeah.
decisions. I mean, it's really kind of endless. And I figured out a process. Really, I spent a lot of time researching and kind of recounting what all I went through and realized like I could create a methodology based on all the stuff I did. And
Awesome.
I think it's gonna work.
Love it.
Cool.
Well, dude,
That's
definitely let
cool.
us know when that
Sounds
launches.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
Okay,
something to pump
okay.
out into the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be exciting, I think. I see it being pretty big actually, but um I want to still live with intention and I want to still have time to myself. And, Doug and I, we have not, speaking of skateboarding, we have not skated
I
together
was
in a
gonna
couple
ask you, when's the
years.
last time you skated? Yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago, there's a pump track by our house and we went over there
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, in Webster there.
yeah, in
Sure.
Webster. I have gone to Maplewood skate park a few times, with my son when he was a younger teenager, but yeah, it's probably been five years since I did that. It was right before COVID,
Yeah.
I think. But I met Jabari there. I had never met him
Oh,
before.
rad. Jabari's
And
awesome.
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, like as we were talking, started realizing like he's a legend. Like the
Oh yeah.
more
Yeah.
I knew about it, and then of course I listened to his podcast, which is so fun. And you guys are doing such a good job. This is a
Nice.
Oh,
Thank you.
vital resource you're creating. And I know my
yeah.
my talk today was a lot about kind of the fluff parts of it, but
That was
I
Not at
mean,
amazing.
all.
I tell you,
No.
I
So
had a
good.
great time being a skater and we Doug and I do go occasionally we will talk about it and then we don't make it a priority, we
Um,
Yeah.
have to prioritize.
yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you guys follow skateboarding at all? Are you familiar with what's going on in the
um
skate world?
not a lot,
Okay.
no. We just know that everybody's tricks like blow our minds,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
6-year-old girls can do
It's
like
amazing.
Yes.
gazillion
It's
kickflips at a
some of the
time. And
most exciting stuff in skateboarding, in my
I mean,
opinion. If
Yes.
the
how
female
I know.
progression is just insane. It's so
So
cool.
I
Like,
do follow a bunch of female skaters, and
mhm.
Good.
I think it's
it
empowering, it's uplifting,
Yeah.
it's totally different than it was back then. I mean,
Yes.
I just think it's fantastic,
it
In
you
the
know.
is. It is really cool. It's so
in the
cool.
last 5 years, it has progressed exponentially. Like it's insane
Hmm.
how quickly female skateboarding is progressing. Like
It's awesome.
it's catching up. Let's put it that
So
way.
Todd, you have on your
Honestly,
Santa
like,
Cruz shirt. So do you work with for Santa Cruz?
I do. Yeah, yeah. I do international sales. Yep.
That is so cool. So do you guys sponsor female skaters
Oh yeah,
like a lot?
definitely a lot on the Santa Cruz side. Fair.
what's her name? Lady Meek? Is she
No,
on the board company or that
no, she
OJ's?
writes
Oh,
for Indie. Yeah, there's
Andy.
there's
Okay.
quite a few. Yeah, it's quite a bit, and
that is
it.
so cool.
I don't want to say, hate to use the word business model,
Oh,
but it's
Fabiano, right?
yeah.
Is that her
Fabiana's
name?
got a board.
Mhm.
Yindi down in Brazil has a board. So yeah, yeah. It's what was once few and far between is now
Yeah.
that's the thing, and like
Yeah.
Ugh.
as it should be because I've worked in skateboarding for a long time and I can tell you 20 years ago when there was conversations about participation, there was never, hey, we should look at a female demographic. It was always,
Hmm.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
was, I don't want
Yeah.
to say, it was kind of,
E-
it wasn't on the radar. Let's put it that way.
Even
Uh,
20 years ago.
yes. Yes. So now there's no way it can't be on the radar, which is awesome, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Our daughters all had skate. So we took the kids skating a lot when they were younger. And they were into it, but like nobody really stuck with it,
Yeah, sure.
which,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
let
we
them do their own
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
You
we
see that
drove them around
for
to the
sure.
parks and stuff. But also Doug and I would be kind of like, do you guys even realize what you have available to
Have you
you?
seen what's in the
Um,
attic? What mom has?
yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm actually legit. Like, you guys think I'm just a lame mom, but then they'll be like, no, we don't think you're a lame mom. But they did think I was, just a mom. But I felt really proud going to buy Finn his first board was a mini cab, and it was very, very
That's
cute
Oh,
little
awesome.
that's
board.
rad. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Something
But then he
Wholesale.
got like a baker or something.
yeah, something that's not talked about in skateboarding, like the time that is happening right now is awesome because Cab is out sessioning right now,
Yeah.
along with a 9-year-old girl from China. Like that's not going to happen in the future ever again. And like
Yeah.
we take a lot of that stuff for granted. So like
Hmm.
the legends you were speaking of, like eh, that's
Yeah,
not going
as
to be
well.
around forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
You,
Yeah.
I know, and the
yeah.
fact that you're kind of putting this down on paper and the fact that a lot of those guys still skate
Yes.
is a gift.
Well, they're kind of laying the groundwork for what that's going to look like, like
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, a blueprint for being able to stay in the industry and make money and
or skate to your 60. Like what does that look like? Like we're
Yeah, or
starting to
even
find out,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. As
That's a
much
really
as
good
I
point.
love it myself, you still can feel connected when you've got all these examples of like, oh, there's 60-year-olds
Yeah.
skateboarding, see it all the time, and Tony Hawk or whatever he's getting there and all
Oh my
that.
God.
So
Crazy. I
um
mean,
yeah.
so it makes those remnant weird feelings about being a skateboarder like non-existent again, because
yeah.
there's always somebody paving the way, like making it more
Oh,
normal.
I,
Yeah.
I I have to wonder like if it would have just kind of petered out. So like in the early 90s, so when I went to college, that was when it started kind of
Oh yeah.
and
I think a lot of people kind of walk away from skating then that
Well,
yeah.
were in love with it, because it
Hmm.
changes heavily in 91 too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't even know what precipitated a lot of that, but
that's where me and Matt come
it's
into the picture. And I can tell you
Yeah, yeah.
a bunch of like oiled
'Cause
up dudes on
that's
a ramp are not is
that's
not
when
what's
I
going
get
up
I
there.
mean, we're both turning like 16 getting in cars and like really,
Yeah,
really
but
covering
we're
ground
not
and
at a backyard vert ramp with a killer session. It's me and you
no,
bouncing our
those are
boards
all
off the
done.
ground in a parking lot,
The
you
oh
know?
my
backyard
gosh, there
ramp
was yeah.
air is done. It kind of ends, and that those community connections are gone. So you have to find it elsewhere at like
Holy cow, that's a
captain's
good topic
captain's
for
school, captain's school or whatever, Alter.
okay, you
We
want to
go
know
we,
something funny about
we never
Captain?
did Alter.
We used to skate at the banks at Captain,
That's
of
so
course.
sick. I love how you skated
And
everything. It's
I found a
so
little
cool,
note
man.
about have you heard of Ben Pona?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I
So
talked
I
about
have
Ben
I
Pona
don't
did
get
he
yeah,
did a
go ahead.
ho-ho for like 2 minutes straight and
Yes.
was like talk about a legend. Like that was amazing.
Yes.
So had great captain stories. Then flash forward, my kids went to captain
Oh wow.
No way.
elementary.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, even though I live
Yeah.
in Webster, but we got divorced and my husband moved to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clayton and he lived right across the street from Captain.
No way.
And they put mulch over the
Yeah.
banks.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
kids, it didn't used to be like this.
Yeah.
No,
So, yeah, I got to skate with Ben Pona a little bit
I love that.
way
I
back
wonder where
then.
he is now. Do you know?
Baba's, I think, kind of in contact with him, maybe Baba Lee. But I'm
Okay.
not sure. Yeah, I think he's
Um,
around Missouri somewhere. But
I should
because
look him up.
so Baba and I talk about the folks from back in those days just nonstop. I like can't
Yeah.
stop picking his brain about that, and
Yeah,
yeah, he was fun to
I
talk
did
to.
not know him back then. And I
I
didn't know Dana, but I met Dana
Oh,
as
Baba,
an
you mean you
adult.
didn't know? Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
know Baba and I didn't know Dana.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I met Dana at the skate park, at Webster Skate Park as an adult when we took our kids up there. And he had not,
Rad.
it was one of the first days back for him. And it
Yeah.
was like a year or two after I had gotten back on a board. And I was still, I mean, when Doug and I got right back, when we got back into it and when we started dating, that was 2010. We skated for a couple years, like on the regular,
Mhm.
we would go to, what's
I
that,
think I
Ramp
saw you guys
Riders.
out at Yap.
Ramp Riders, yeah.
Did you guys get out to that way, out to the
Yeah, yeah.
concrete park?
We'd go to Yap
think I might
with
have
a
been out
bunch of
there.
the old people.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Mhm.
Huh.
So those guys, so the um Tim Jameson
Sure.
Yep.
and trying to think of who else. Like there was just a big crew of those of the old guys. And so yeah, those I mean, I had never skated concrete like that. It
Yeah.
was I
Mhm.
loved it. If that were closer, I would probably still be skating,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then again, I was like, oh, I also have to provide health insurance for my family so I can't get a brain injury. Very practical,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all doing the
you
Those
same.
know.
thoughts cross, yeah, they cross our minds for sure.
I
Nice.
know it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, do you guys find yourselves kind of
I
watching it a little
will
bit, or
sometimes. I'll usually be able to like know when I should be watching myself. Like I haven't been skating in a while. Like I shouldn't be firing in like I'm firing in right now.
okay,
So,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
yeah, that's crept in with age for sure.
Yeah, it
Some
seems to be increasing
put
with age,
myself at,
unfortunately.
yeah.
That's
Have
yeah.
you broken any bones since you got old?
Knock on wood,
Um,
no, I haven't broken
no.
anything
Yay! Knock on
since.
laptop.
I mean, I chipped an ankle like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
but I didn't know. I
That's
thought it
the
was just a,
I do
that's
have
all
a
I've broken from skating. Yeah.
I do have a
mm.
doctor's appointment for Achilles tendonitis tomorrow morning. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I hope it goes well.
it'll
Yeah.
be fine. It's part of the deal of skateboarding for 35 years. You got to deal with it.
Yeah,
Part of the
Man,
program.
right?
I need to
Yep.
get some new good skate shoes. I had
Yeah.
so Andy Mueller had us on when the kids were littler. He had us on the flow team, so we all
For
had like
like
three or
Guys.
four pair of Lakais.
Lakai.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yep.
That's
But Doug's a
awesome.
Vans guy. He wears Vans
Oh,
every
nice.
second of the day. But now, I mean, even that, he's like getting old. I might have to start getting some arch support.
Get some
I
of those.
Like
Vans just hurt the feet, man.
they
My
Yeah.
do.
back, my back. If I wear them to work or something, it's just
Yeah,
like
dude,
I
it's
can't
not
do it.
good. You got to get the cushy
No,
ones.
Yeah,
I've got
that's
yeah.
probably why
I'm
I have
glad
to
they.
go to the doctor tomorrow because of that.
Thanks, Vans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Vans, a lot.
Skateboarding, it giveth and it taketh
No
away.
doubt. No doubt.
for sure.
Well, we'll
Uh,
wind this down. Matt, you got anything else on your radar? Marcy,
Not
anything
really.
else?
Yeah, this has been awesome, man.
well, I did want to ask, like, I think maybe before we started, were we recording when I was talking about the Joe Lopes that are
No,
behind
we
me?
weren't. What's going on with the Joe
So
No, we
Lopes?
weren't.
let's
Yeah,
let's let's bring it up here. Okay. So I'm in my husband's um den. Wait, is it?
and there's four of them.
Yeah, there's
It needs to
Nice.
four.
focus. Oh yeah, yeah. He built a new one
No way.
to go
Hmm.
on top because he could. But so he designed this shelf and the board, the deck on the left with the OJ stickers, that was Doug's board when he was, in the 80s. Wait, why can't I not get that straight?
No, it's
I'm
it. We
holding it
can
with
see
my
it.
hands. Okay. And then the one on the right
Yep.
was our friend Walter Bass's board. And Walter was like, he passed away a few years ago. Again, he was young. I mean, I think he was 56 and died of prostate cancer, but he was skating up until the end and riding motorcycles and doing all kinds of daredevil stuff. And he was a wonderful, wonderful person. And after he passed away, his girlfriend, Brooke, gave the board to Doug. And so he knew he had Walter's skateboard.
Yeah.
Doug did not actually have his original Lopes. He had sold it a couple years ago. And the guy mailed it back to him when
No
he
way.
saw
No
that
way.
Doug was getting into skating. One day, Doug came home from work and we had a big box in the living room. The guy had messaged me to get our address and he mailed Doug back the skateboard because
Damn.
I can't even remember the real reason, but like he knew Doug needed to be reunited with it more than he needed it.
Yeah.
So he was
Interesting.
reunited
We've
with that Lopes. And then the skateboard in the middle was our guest book at our wedding. We
Oh,
bought
that's
the deck
rad.
at Infinity, and
Hmm.
everybody signed it
Nice.
and
Cool.
wrote little love notes on there for us. So Doug built this little triptych,
Love it.
and we're a skating family, at least
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
heritage.
Yeah.
Not in practice every day, at least in mindset. I think you never really, I mean, and in every picture I notice I end up going like this, and my hand just makes a natural, like, yeah, dude,
Throwing
kind of
shakas.
motion. Yeah, I can't help it. It's my part of my physiology at this point. And I think too, like how I talk, I never stop saying rad or stoked or any of that stuff. And I just think you can't, like, and all those other kids in high school who weren't skaters, like, I guess they might
Yeah.
have some cool words that they said, but not as cool as our language.
Yeah.
We had our own
Yeah.
culture going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Really, really a good thing. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you guys very
Yeah.
much
Thank
for
you.
Yeah.
having me
This
do
was
this.
amazing.
Oh,
This was really
show.
cool. Really
Marcy,
good.
much
So,
appreciated.
Yes.
oh, thanks, Todd,
Happy
and
to learn
thanks,
so much about
Matt.
you.